Yeah, we were here for 4 days at X Factor Park. We had 4 teams, Infamous, X Factor, Heat, and Impact. We're playing like full matches and match-like scenarios and just battling out and swap teams.
The amount of talent and elite teams that are here at this practice, if you're not here, where are you? You know? We're out here just throwing bows.
It honestly is probably one of the most elite practices we could actually put together in this season. So we have the opportunity, we're graced with it for Alex Martinez to host everything. It's going great so far, very, very competitive practice.
We just lost the 4-2.
The last event, we played the Russians in the quarterfinals, and in our opinion, they didn't beat us. We definitely gave it to them. We were up in all those points or up in positions, and we felt like we made some mistakes. So we're just trying to clear those up and play a little tighter and a little better as our team, not make those mistakes, and obviously we're getting more prepared for this event.
So you know how to line yourself up? You go 3 steps back and then 1 over.
This is your technique. I have a different soccer technique.
It's every football player.
Yeah.
Even the soccer
Football
player.
and soccer is a different.
But even the soccer player.
Right. That's the fun. Go. Oh, good snap.
Touchdown! Field goal.
Fucking touchdown.
Oh, solid.
I think Ryan Holt ran all the way down with his ball.
Laces out there.
That was as good as we were going to
Good as it was getting.
I was looking at breakouts, and on breakouts, to me, guys,
Get out of here.
Ouais, ça va, on a fait 7 matchs de 8 minutes. I'm talking to the Tauntauns. They play the same layout in Europe, so they just had to practice and we try to share the information.
Very traditional, very old school X-ball style where you're really just winning gun battles and making quick moves and getting in the snake and going to work. So I'm really excited for the tournament. I think it's going to be great. If anybody else wants to coach for X Factor, we got an opening. The camera's all wet. You get it.
You understand what I'm saying? They're not in our shit. Because I went to the two, shot the one. No. I stood up. He was going to float.
He was running and shooting.
Yeah, he was running.
He started walking to it. And I feel like I bounced him.
You know what will suck though is like being this tower guy. It's like so much pressure on you to actually hit your shot. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's like a big fucking gap. You're the only guy shooting it. It's like it's clear as day if you miss him.
It's one guy, you're running.
Yeah.
You're like, oh fuck.
Why don't you make more?
But why? We're up 2 points. This is what we talked about. You didn't say a word to him. Yeah. You just went and bunkered a guy. They have to come beat us.
Oh.
Like I like the move. I like the move. If we're down maybe another, but we gotta learn to play these situations, right? We gotta learn to, at least before you do that, you've got to try to get something to him, right? Because we're playing 2 one-on-ones. That's a coin toss each way. We want to play a 2-on-2 because we're better. Yeah, we'll be better at it if we talk.
Welcome to Day 2's competition here at Atlantic City for the Mid-Atlantic Major. Matty Marshall got Zizek Barl from Paintball Nerd, former champion, multiple pro teams over the years. First point here is the Notorious and the ML Kings, and Zizek, both of these teams are desperately in need of a win. They went 0-2 yesterday. Didn't get blown out crazy, though, so point spread is manageable as long as they can get 2 solid wins today and put up some points.
Absolutely. You know, we'll see who wants it better here today.
And looks like Notorious here going to be getting to that 50 pretty quickly here in the snake in that V. And, just comes around, though, right into a stream. So great zone control here from the ML Kings. It's a mistake there from Johnson as he was in there clean. Did not need to do that. I think the ML Kings did lose a body off the break. I think it was, I think both teams lost a body on the break. Moves for Notorious now on that D side, getting into D2 and up into that crucial wedge. You can see here ML Kings counterpunching over there on that D side as well, D1. And the Aztec. Looks like the ML King's going to dip Kyle Berry into Snake 1, the other side of the field. These guys settling in. These teams, again, blind layout if you're just joining us here. Didn't get a chance to watch Friday's competition. It's been a blind layout, so it's been kind of fascinating to watch these teams figure out the tactics and strategy in real time. Kyle Berry improves his position. He crawls up into second Snake.
Looks like we might have 3-on-4 here in favor of the Kings.
Yeah, and better field position with that outside containment here from Kyle Berry. So he's wrapping around. He's not feeling any pressure. Tactical retreat from Marky Franz Jr., and he ends up getting clipped. So now Notorious is in a rough spot. They got 2 bodies still alive, and they're just going to go forward right into guns. But no deaths from ML Kings. Oh, and they got a penalty. That's late. Well, I think Magic was still alive, so hopefully that's not going to cost him on the next one. Yeah, so solid start here for the ML Kings. Also in this set, we got LA Infamous. They went 1-1 yesterday as they defeated the Ironman, and that was a really good game for Infamous. They put up 7 points. It was the first set of the day. No one had played on the field yet, and they just adapted quicker than the Ironman. I talked to some of the Ironman guys this morning, Isaac, Zach Geiger and Henry Sense, and they just, they were brutally honest with themselves. They had a really good look in Texas. They were undefeated in the prelims, 3rd place on Thursday. So with the brand new squad, 3rd place that early on in the year, kind of playing on house money a little bit, and then they just fell flat yesterday. So the Ironman, they lost to New York Extreme by 3, and then lost to Infamous by, I think, 3 as well too. So I think they're sitting at either a -5 or a -6. We're in the pits right now with There's Charlie Givens and ML Kings. Let's listen in real quick.
They were in the Denver, and the Denver got filled out.
Yeah, I saw that. They're trying to play the middle heavy. Yeah, because they're trying to shoot our China guy. Okay. Because they think Carter was the...
Carter, how'd you get picked off, buddy? On the alpha. On the cross hard?
Yeah, he stayed
okay.
inside too much.
Hey.
2.
10 seconds.
Hey.
Jumping into this first point here, Infamous and New York Extreme. Extreme on the blue side, Infamous on the red side. So yeah, Infamous dropped their second game to Dynasty in a 2-4 match. But they looked so good against Ironman, so I'm still expecting really big things from Infamous. They do lose 2 bodies here off the break. Looks like it's going to be Ryan Hall taking the walk. They do have Sam Silberg, who's just been a wrecking ball for him on that D side. And they got Jonah Jamrose back from an injury, and he is up into that 50-yard line. But they did lose those 2, and they didn't shoot anybody. So it's a big 5-on-3 situation here in favor of Extreme. Extreme was having hard times with survivability yesterday, Isaac.
3-on-3, Matty.
Yeah, man, this is so. Coach Dan, Coach Rich, going to be real frustrated right now as they lose 2 bodies out of their spots. Maybe one got dropped into transition, but still, those are the deaths that Extreme can't have. 5-on-3 against Infamous in point number 1, trying to set the tempo and pace of this match. Can't die out of those positions.
Extreme bumping out to the snake side corner here. They're in a similar situation as Infamous. 1 win, 1 loss yesterday, so both these teams really need it as well.
Battle going down here in the snake, and the chaos sets in as we just see that 50 brick is just
major penalty here.
More of attrition. Ooh, major penalty going to be assessed on New York Extreme. So Extreme throwing away a 5-on-3 situation. Great job by Zach Patient. Got to be careful there, Zach. Zach jumps over. So yeah, Sam Silberg was also alive on that D side, and then they also had Jonah Jamrose in there too. So that's a pretty fast offensive package on the snake side with both Jamrose and Patient, and then Silberg just keeps getting better and better and better. Those are the 3 bodies that pulled off that 3-on-5. And so if you're Infamous, it's Isaac, we've all been in this situation. You're in that 5 you're the 3 instead of the 5. You pull it off, you come back in, everyone smiles all the way around. You're getting back pats and high fives, and it because you just put the team on your back to give you that early lead. Now on the flip side, we've all been there too. When you lose a high body situation, and you got to get back in there and start talking. How do we blow that? How do we blow that?
Yeah, pick on one guy, get him out. Don't lose the bodies in those when you're up. One of those cardinal sins in paintball.
Yeah, man, it's just it's so infuriating. I mean, 5-on-4, that's not that bad of a high. You lose a 5-on-4, you're the 5, but lose a 5-on-3.
There's going to be a conversation around that.
So ML King's up 1 here against Notorious. These teams switch sides, so ML King's going to be on the red side in those white jerseys. They're going to be losing Kyle Berry, trying to get out on a secondary move to the back corner bunker. They also lose their D1 player as well, too. So 3 bodies alive for ML Kings. This is Notorious's chance to get on the board. Battle going down in the middle. Carter Donaldson going to de-trade out with Johnson. No, he did not. I don't mind Carter. Well, the tough thing is when you're in that spot, I'd almost rather he probably didn't know the count that he lost those 2 bodies behind him. But even if he goes through and trades out, they did shoot a body. So if he goes through and trades out, it's still going to be a 3-on-2 in favor of your opponents. Almost rather have him chill at that wedge for a little bit and see if one of his back players can win a gunfight.
Yeah, let it play out a little bit. See if you can get some kills inside, maybe.
Well, because we're also just so early in the game too. There's still 12 minutes and 11 seconds left. You got a little bit of time to work with. You have a lead.
Yeah, I think a lot of these dominant front players like to get in there and get the trade done, and it doesn't always happen that way, as we just saw.
Well, we also saw, Isaac, that yesterday afternoon, as people started figuring this layout, so there's Notorious trying to close from that middle. That's kind of what the middle's been utilized for. We've seen some beautiful moves, some finishing moves from the middle. Very potent and creative, getting 3-4 packs from that position. But in the middle part of the game, it's kind of trash. So, but once you've whittled your opponents down, there's only a couple bodies left alive. It can become very effective. But yesterday's, Isaac, we did see that this 50 brick, guys would just be on the other side of it, just shooting inside. They know that the other guy's there, but they don't want to go and just trade that body out, and they want to let the play develop. And guys were actually living a little bit more in those potential trade moments. So we'll see if that continues to be the trend today.
We will see here. We got Austin probing a little bit there in the middle, moving up. Kings holding off a 2-on-3 scenario here.
Yeah, Notorious just needs to be very careful. They have this extra body out here. They have some good spots. You don't want to have some reckless gunfight.
Notorious filling out wide in the back. That's a smart move that we can start pinching those guys on the inside.
Yeah, Logan Dyer with the transition over to the D side. And Logan's good at that, man. He definitely keeps his head on a swivel. Been grinding for years. So good to see him here still in the Pro Division, really helping out Notorious. Because Notorious, again, if didn't watch their games yesterday, they're missing 3 of their core starters. No Ty Bateman, no Zach, and no Archie Barnes Jr. And that's rough. I talked to them this morning. But they still, smiles all the way around. Because even with their starting line, missing 3 of their crucial components, they still didn't have a bad look in 2 losses. They were able to put some points on the board. They had a real close game against Houston Heat. They put up 3 against Aftershock.
Yeah, maybe those 3 are the difference between closing it out and winning and having a close game,
So Dyer now all the way up into D3. They still have that center position as well. And then 50 brick for Austin Notorious.
I wonder if Notorious knows where those bodies are at.
I would hope they would
not
at
good.
This point in time.
Notorious loses their center guy, so it's a 2-on-2 situation here. And Notorious is farther up on the field, but...
Oh, and they're going to lose Logan as well, too. So the ML Kings in this 2-on-3 turn a 2-on-3 into a 2-on-1. Just Johnson left alive, and then he's going to get smoked, too. So that's going to be really frustrating for Notorious. So ML Kings putting another one on the board in a must-win situation for them. Again, they're sitting at 0-2 with the -3.
Yeah, Kings were calm in those back spots, communicating, identifying where Notorious was at, and it seemed like Notorious were all kind of playing individually there, even though they were in better spots. And that's what cost you.
Hey, I need all this. It's got
ML Kings pumped up here with a 2-point lead. Next game for the ML Kings is going to be Houston Heat, so it's not going to get any easier for them.
Certainly not.
In this division, it is Heat, Aftershock, Damage, Notorious, and the ML Kings. Bracket C.
All right, let's see if Extreme can answer here. Infamous up in the 50 brick quick, and they're getting matched here by Extreme.
Infamous going a little bit more conservative on this one. They're pocketed up, so the only risk was Jamrose. Still got that back center with Nate Schrader. Battle in the middle here with George McLean. So George McLean's been all over the place. They got him in the snake now. He had some real big moments for him on that D side yesterday.
Here's that moment we were talking about earlier where both teams are in the 50 brick here. They know that each other are there, but they're kind of playing it slow and not going for the trade immediately. Looks like it paid off for Infamous. Now we got a 4-5.
Yeah, so Thomas Taylor coming off. Oh, here comes the inside move. Oh, and George McLean's going to stay alive. What a beautiful job by George McLean. So he dices up Jamrose. Jamrose is begging, looking at the penalty, or looking at the refs, saying, hey, get in there and check George. Referee's scouring him over. Here comes the launch, as Ryan Hall is also going to be begging for a penalty.
Is he hit? Okay, he's coming out, so we got a 3-on-4 situation, 3-on-3 situation here.
Well, George McLean, 2 bodies come off of that beautiful inside move. He just ran down, got Jamrose, and then forced Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall had to attack. Another body coming off for Infamous, though. From that, I believe from the can of death. Was that Brusselback dying out of that can? Or might have been on the D side. Barrett's going to get shot as well, too. Man, Extreme looking good in some gunfights. Nice to kind of, they came out and set the tempo with George. Oh, that's a tough death for Pat Kraft Jr. Man. And who got that shot? Was that Schrader?
He's the only guy left.
Nate Schrader, wheeling and dealing in D1 right now. Still looking at 2 more, though. Let's see if Nate Schrader can win 2 more gunfights. He's got Jerry Caro in his sights right now.
Extreme's got to work together on this. And they do.
Well, it was getting a little scary for a second.
It was,
but Jerry Caro and Josh Taylor combined to take out Nate Schrader. Nate's looking, just glaring at him like, did I put a ball in on Jerry? So, tying it up.
Love to see that, you know. Got a little slugfest here.
In the pits with Extreme. And it's just been a rough year for Extreme. They were a top team last year. They picked up Thomas, lost Corey Hall, who went to Aftershock. And then they've just had a ton of penalties. So a little bit of rough go for them. Let's listen in real quick.
Utah won in the burrito.
20 seconds.
They still had one in the bacon, and we called different 5 bunks. I'm not making an excuse. We counted 5, so I went off the 5 we counted. The body we were calling in burritos was actually in Chicago. But yeah, absolutely. My bad. I apologize. I went off.
Hey, we need to tighten our shit up, guys, right? Good point, but we need to tighten our shit up.
All right, Kings with a 2-point lead here. Let's see if they can maintain.
Body dropping early. 2 bodies coming off for Austin Notorious. ML Kings laser beaming balls down the field here to get those 2 kills, and they don't lose anybody. 5 on 3. Notorious looking like he wants to go. Donaldson looking inside. Kyle Berry protecting Cardinal Donaldson, though, from the Aztec.
Yeah, he does not want to trade in this situation here because then it would be a 5-on-2 situation. So let's see if he can stay calm and maybe get some kills.
Yeah, these players diving into this snake and then they're crawling up. Maybe throw a head check backwards and see if any of your guys are walking off dead.
Yeah, maybe just check that out. Check the situation. Now we have a great move here.
There we go, Carter. Oh, Donaldson gets eaten up by the South Electronics tower.
And he draws a penalty.
Oh, well, it was looking good for Carter Donaldson there. And wait, was that penalty on me? But while we were watching that penalty, looks like a couple more bodies dropping for Notorious and the ML Kings. Even with the penalty, still with enough bodies forcing the concession. So it's been all ML Kings so far, starting to run the score up a little bit here. Still 8 minutes left to go.
Yeah, plenty of time, but you never want to see a 3-point lead on the scoreboard when you're behind.
Call that the dreaded 3-point spread. Back in the Race 2 era, we crunched the numbers on it back in the PSP days when we were doing Race to 7, and I think it was 92% of the time that you go down 3-0, you lose.
That's a fascinating statistic there. And it makes sense, you know.
It's not that bad anymore now that we don't have the Race 2 format. It's just highest point total wins at the end of the 15-minute regulation. If you're just joining us, that's the rule. These teams switch sides if a point is won. They'll stay on the same side if there's a no point. That does happen a decent amount if all 5 bodies are shot. And we got majors and minor penalties. Yellow flag's a minor. Major is if you get hit and shoot somebody. That pulls off 2 bodies. A minor pulls off 1. Oh, looks like we got to get a stake back in one of those bunkers.
Little technical timeout here. Give the guys a little breather. Let's see if we're going to have infamous punch back here. I'd like to see a little slugfest. Punch back, go back and forth.
Selfishly for us, now that we're retired and we're just fans now, we're fans again. I just want to see, I just want to see chaos, entertaining games.
Yeah, you know those NFL fans that are like, I just want to see a good game. You know, I don't care about the teams.
Yeah, I've grew up obviously watching the Chargers, and then they betrayed us and went to our hated rivals, LA. But
I stopped watching football after that, Mandy.
Me too. But it was funny. There was like a highlight reel that somebody posted from the late 70s. You know, like watch the NFL this Sunday, and every single highlight was now a penalty. Just dudes spearing each other, tearing their helmets off.
Yeah, leading in with the head. Can't do that anymore.
Yeah. So, yeah, we want to watch, blow for blow battles back and forth. But yesterday, we had some really good games yesterday on this layout for the most part. Only a couple blowouts. I think we had like 7 overtimes. It was awesome. So hopefully we get that same battle today. Parity in the league that's a real conversation now. It's not just 1 or 2 teams beating the brakes off everyone else all the time. Body dropping for Infamous here in this tie game. New York Extreme on your right, in the blue side. Infamous over there on the red side. And a 5-on-4 situation. So another high body moment here for New York Extreme. Here's Isaac.
Gotta slow it down here. Communicate with your teammates and take advantage of that lead, that body lead.
Double dose of attackers with Callie Rudolph and Sam Soberg on that D side for Infamous. They got Ryan Hall. He had a really good first game against the Ironman, really contributing, had multiple good points out there for him.
Yeah, Ryan Hall's a great player, great anodizing company as well.
Oh, yeah. He does some amazing work. So 10:30 now to go. We'll see if this one might drag out a little bit because it's tied up. Extreme already blew a high body situation, so they're going to be very much thinking about every single move they make, not wanting to do that again.
Yeah, probably got a little tongue lashing there in the pits, so not trying to lose any stupid bodies here.
Yeah, and both of these teams were sitting at 1-1. Yeah, this has the makings of a potentially long point. It just depends, because if Infamous loses a gunfight or drops another body, then Extreme could start speeding things up a little bit.
Yeah, but Extreme is in a good position here to trade out a body if they could, and that would certainly help things out. Let's see if Infamous moves up. Looks like they're going to hold their positions a little bit here and wait for things to unfold, see if they can pick off a body from Extreme.
Great comms from both squads, good communication. Can hear them all the way up here. Yeah, it's interesting, too, with the communication, because depending on what type of voice, some people have a big, rich, deep baritone that carries, and then some people have, like, more of a, a high-pitched voice that carries.
Mm-hmm.
You got to just lean into whatever voice you got, man. And you really have to be a distinctive voice that people can hear.
Big move by Infamous up the Dorito side. They're in the 50 Dorito now. Going to apply a little bit of pressure here to Extreme. And Extreme takes the Snake. Snake 1. Try and widen up the field a little bit.
Yeah,
Snake 2.
Infamous probing in that middle right now.
Infamous pushing the Dorito side. Oh, Extreme drops their 50. Oh, and their cake. Gosh.
And Baby Pat Craft.
Oh, my goodness.
It's Ryan Hall again.
That.
Ryan Hall is having a pretty good tournament. Is that a 4-pack for Ryan Hall? I think Ryan shot all those guys. I don't know if he shot Josh Taylor, but he definitely shot everyone else.
I mean, you see 3 guys get out of their bunkers at the same time. It looks like it might have been Hall probing in the center there.
Man, Ryan Hall, he's having this is a good tournament for him, man. And that's on the list. So Pate Smith Law, he's a paintball player, he's a lawyer. His firm specializes in representing clients against insurance companies on property claims. So he's your man if you need help with that. $500 at stake here in the prelims and $1,000 on Sunday tomorrow. Ryan Hall, that's definitely on the list. Colt Roberts' 4-pack in the last set is leading, but I'm going to have to go back and rewatch both those to see which one's better, but that was just a beautiful finish from that middle. In Zizek, we had talked about with this layout in that middle of the field and how you can close from that middle. So we keep seeing these big dynamic closing moves to finish things off from the middle of the field.
All right, Kings and Notorious. Notorious drops 1. Kings drop. Ooh, they get a penalty, so they're going to lose 2. And Notorious drops another one as well. We have a 3-on-3 scenario here. And Kings just running off the field here. We have a 2-on. Is it 2-on-2 now, Maddie?
Yeah, looks like it. Nope. Kyle, bloodbath point.
Yeah.
Carter Donaldson.
1-on-3 here. And bodies we're just running off there real quick.
Nope. Carter's trying to transition bunker to bunker to bunker to see if he can create some sort of chaos out here and catch somebody making a mistake in a gunfight. Sherman and Dyer. Sherman at the Aztec. Dyer over here in the Snake. They're just trying to find Connor.
They need to communicate and pick on that guy. Or else he's going to do something like this.
Look at Dyer, though. Dyer taking off for the buzzer. Oh, Sherman gets shot. Carter Donaldson. Oh, Logan Dyer's going to steal the point. So Carter Donaldson getting very creative and exploring the possibilities, going bunker to bunker, ends up catching Sherman, but Dyer has had enough of that. He's like, well, I know there's no one else in this backfield, so I'm just going to let Sherman deal with Donaldson. I'm going to run and hit this button.
That's great awareness, Matty. Dyer said, hey, let's go for the point and not worry about that guy running down the field there.
Well, they're in this match still. Notorious only down by 2.
Yeah, they needed that one for sure.
In the pits now with Notorious.
get the kill, that's awesome. Now let's talk to our teammates. Yo, kill this guy. Are you guys still alive? Kill 3 for sure, kill 2 for sure. Let's talk it up and work together. You died and you tried to do it individually and work together.
Yeah, he's talking about just what we were talking about here. Work together, communicate. All right, back with Infamous and Extreme here. Extreme drops one. 5-on-4 in favor of Infamous. Extreme and Infamous matched up here in the center. Extreme taking the 50 here. Infamous drops one. We got a 4-on-4 situation. Extreme a little bit farther up on the field.
Yeah, they have a little bit better field position, and they're going to need it. Up, Infamous up a point with that beautiful move from Ryan Hall. Josh Taylor's thinking about making a move out into that D2 position. D2 much better than D1 on offense because once that first Dorito is in set, can't gunfight down the sideline there. So Sam Silberg already out there and up the field a little bit.
Great move by Extreme here, bunkering out the wedge.
Jerry Carl.
And staying alive.
Oh, got to be careful not to get a penalty.
That looked dangerous there, but he got him. Oh, no, he didn't. He did not get away with that.
Yeah, that was on the edge. So time taken off the clock. Those bodies get pulled, and it's going to leave just one player. So it's a 1-on-2 with Pat Kraft Jr. as the sole body out there for New York Extreme. And his head's on a swivel trying to find these last 2 players for Infamous. Man, that was that was very close to an amazing move from Jerry Carl, but just a little bit too much on that edge of the gray area. Cost him major pulled.
And he didn't have to do that,
Yeah, I mean, they need a point, but but there still was 7.5 minutes left when that happened.
See if Pat Kraft can work some magic here. He's crafty sometimes.
Pat Kraft has pulled off some low body moments before, so he has prevailed in these situations. But I think that's Sam, is all the way onto their side. No, it's Brusselback. Brusselback's onto New York Extreme side of the field.
Not a good position here for Pat.
Yeah, it's tough, right, Isaac? Because he still has to deal with the can, so the can just kind of stop him while Brusselback can just commit. See, it's just Pat, so Pat has to keep that head going back and forth and trying to keep Brusselback from running to hit that buzzer. That's the objective out here. The objective is the buzzer. You don't have to shoot everybody. Nate Schrader is going to close the gap. And actually, no, so they actually got the shot in on Pat. That forces the concession, so it's just under 6 minutes. Another point here for Infamous. Next game up for New York Extreme will be Dynasty, and next game for Infamous is Impact. That's just a brutal bracket.
Tough.
Dynasty, Ironman, Impact, Infamous, and New York Extreme all in the same bracket.
Probably the toughest bracket.
Bracket D.
The Doom bracket.
Yeah, some people were saying that maybe bracket B was just as hard, but with X Factor, Revo, Aftermath, Fit, and Diesel down in that 5th as the lowest ranked team. And Diesel dropped a game to Revo by 1 yesterday and defeated Aftermath by 2.
All right, here we go with Notorious and Kings. And Notorious drops one. Kings drop one. 4-on-4. Kings in a better field position. But let's see if they slow it down and put together some kills here. Communicate. And actually take advantage of their better field position. Notorious moving up to Dorito 2.
Yeah, it's Magic and D2 here for Notorious. Marky Franz. I believe that's Marky at the can. They get a body out for Notorious to the back corner bunker on the snake side. Also have the Aztec, but here comes the push right now for the ML Kings. All the way onto their side of the field. Eat up that body in the middle.
Oh, Kings did not know Notorious filled out to that corner.
Kyle Berry asking for a check, and Snake 1 there, bottom right-hand side of your screen. He's good to go. 3-on-3 situation here is Yeah, I was just thinking that front player for the Kings did not need to engage right there. They have a 2-point lead. There's 6 minutes left to go. They had a one-body advantage.
They're forcing the issue a lot this game, and it's costing them.
Yeah, I mean, not too much, though. I mean, they have a 2-point lead. Time's starting to tick off the clock. And now in a locked-up 3-3, if you're the Kings, you know Notorious has to push forward. I mean, if they're going to give you a move that you want, take it. But it's it's up to Notorious to try to make something happen here.
So Notorious and Kings. Oh, Kings
wow.
just lose their snake player.
Yeah, so Kyle Berry losing a gunfight down the sideline. Now that gives the advantage. I think that was Dyer again. So Logan Dyer wins the gunfight on Kyle Berry. Looks like, I think that's Peterson making the move up into D3.
Notorious can really just come down this side here. Everyone is on the other side of the field.
Yeah, I think Dyer's being extra careful here because I don't know if he knows where these last two bodies are.
Yeah, he's trying to figure it out here, piece it together, and Kings just dropped their guy, and it's 3-on-1. And there you go. Notorious answering here. Let's see if they can tie it up the next point and give us a ball game.
Yeah. They've been scrappy. Again, missing 3 of their starters in this one. Logan Dyer having a tournament. He's had some really good looks out there. It was a nice win. Kyle Berry's a pretty good snapshot himself. But Logan Dyer got that win. Marky Franz and Magic also in on that. Let's make it a 1-point match here, Isaac.
You lose 1 starter, it's like, okay, we can adapt. You lose 3 starters, it's a different team that you're playing with.
Yeah.
It's but they're adapting, they're doing well, just like I said. But they're definitely feeling that.
So now, similar situation here for New York Extreme that Notorious was in. So Notorious down by 1. See if Extreme can step up. So it's going to be Callie and Sam. Callie Rudolph, Sam Silber going towards the D side again. Ryan Hall, can't take him off the field right now with how he's playing. And then Barrett going to be going here snake side. Who's the other body? Jonah Jamrose. So they're going to, looks like, hold.
Extreme losing 1 off the break here.
And that is, yeah, I think that's McLean. That's a really good kill on New York Extreme right now. If you can get McLean off the field. Oh, but they get a shot on Callie Rudolph. So 4-on-4. As Hennessy going to get right into this 50. Try to make something happen here with 5:30 to go. Jonah Jamrose is at his spot at that wedge, looking towards the D side, looking towards the middle. And then they have Sam Silberg in a good spot, already in D3.
Infamous loses their Dorito player.
Oh, that's a great kill on Sam Silberg as the New York Extreme is going to filter 2 bodies out towards the D side. Just got that body into D1, now diving into D2 to improve their position. There goes a desperation run for Ryan Hall. He's going to go all the way to D1, and he makes it clean. Poor zone control here from New York Extreme. I don't know if anyone was in position to actually shoot that spot. Hall's thinking about making the move up.
And he does.
Yeah, so he is now taking over the attack on the D side with that death of Silberg. Hennessy still in a really good spot. Oh, and they're going to get a shot in. Yeah, can't really live in that position in that middle if there's somebody in that 50 brick. So I think that was probably Hennessy that got that kill.
Yeah, it looks like his gun was that way. All right, let's see if... Oh, can't have that. Extreme drops their brick guy. And we got a 3-on-2 situation here.
Yeah, still a high body situation for Extreme. Time starting to tick off this clock here. Let's see if Ryan Hall can be the hero again in a low body moment. And they're going to come and dice him up. And that's
smart.
Thomas Taylor, I think, with that run through, leaving just Joe Barrett in a 1-on-2. So Pat Kraft mirrored up with Joe Barrett. Pat's going to go out to the backfield, not feeling any pressure. Ooh, Barrett with a little bit of a slip, and then that's going to cost him. So might have got caught up on that bunker as he was trying to transition outside wide. Pat Kraft's going to hit the afterburners here to hit the buzzer to preserve as much time as possible. And they're also going to be down by 1. So 2 close games here, Isaac.
It's like they're copying each other, Hey, you do this, and we'll do that too. I wonder what happened there with Barrett dropping his gun.
Yeah, I was looking, had checked over to Pat, and then when I looked back at Barrett, he was just sprawled out in the middle, in between those two bunkers. So I'm maybe caught up on the stake, you know, on.
Oh yeah, got a little tripwire out there.
In the pits right now with Extreme, tense moments for them. They're sitting at 1-1 with the -2. Desperately need this win. Again, been a tough year for them. They've been dealing with lots of injuries.
10 seconds. After him, just get Taylor. Feel. Hey, we're on Dan right now. Feel.
All right, Notorious on your right, Kings on your left.
2 unanswered points here for Notorious. They are going to be dropping a body early, though, trying to get to that South Electronic can. Both teams going to send a body into the V in the snake structure. Let's see if they just go right around and trade or hang out in there for a little bit and shoot inside. Austin Notorious looks like they want to trade.
Looks like it. They're getting a little itchy. Kings looking inside. Oh, now we got both guys matched up here. We're going to see some action. And there it is. Trade. Kings filling out to the snake side corner, up to the temple.
Yeah, so
4-on-3 situation here in favor of the Kings.
Yeah, this is a tough moment for Notorious. Still got to figure out a way to get through these guns. Kings might see him just hang out in these spots and just shoot lanes. Because if they can score 1 more point and burn about 2 minutes off the clock, it's really going to put Notorious in a tough position.
Right you are, Matty. Yeah, clock is just ticking here. And Notorious certainly has to do something. Kings not a whole lot of need to do anything besides lock it down and let that clock burn.
Yeah, need to see a sense of urgency here for Notorious, but not quite yet. I just have to be careful because they're in this low body situation. They are down a body. They're down a point. They got 242 to work with. Yeah, and I mean, even just 1 more death right now could be the difference.
Certainly. And there it is.
Yeah,
Austin loses their brick.
So that's going to put ML Kings here in a really good spot. Now they got a 2-body advantage. They have the field spread. They're in D2. Starting to shark down the field a little bit here in the middle. Getting that wedge. You can hit the deck, crawl up into the 50. If you're Notorious, just like, please, need to shoot someone. Hopefully they get a major or something. Need a little gift from the gods here. Because it's definitely going the Kings' way. Kings now just got to be careful. The thing for the Kings, though, they're sitting in -3. So it would be nice to get concession from Notorious.
Smart.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah, so you're saying the Kings need to increase the deficit a little bit here.
Yeah, if possible. I mean, they're sitting at up 2 now. So if they win this one, they'll be 1-2 with a -1 still. They need to go 2-2 with typically around a +3, +2 to comfortably make it. You'll still be playing in a wild card round, which means you need to win 4 games in a row to win the tournament. But that has happened, a handful of times in the past few years since we bulked out the pro division to 20 teams. It's just not going to get easier for the ML Kings because the next game they need to win is against Houston Heat.
Not going to be an easy match.
Yeah, Heat lost to Damage yesterday.
Extreme on your left, Infamous on your right. And Extreme drops 1 here. Infamous drops on. We have a 4-on-4. Extreme probing in the middle.
Yeah, 3:30 left to go in this one, Isaac. So these guys will have a couple minutes to feel it out. Oh, here comes a big move up in the middle. Bunkers out. So was that McLean again or Caro? Bunkering out Jonah Jamrose. So that clears that V structure here in the snake. But just 3 bodies alive for New York Extreme, and they're tucked in the pocket. Looking at 3 bodies for Infamous.
Also in the pocket.
Yeah, not. Well, they have a body in D3 now, so Sam Silberg has got the best position on the field.
Extreme here up to the 50 brick. try and balance things out.
Yeah, good communication from both squads. So New York Extreme with good position here, 50-yard line in the V snake, and then good position for Sam Silberg on that top side. Thomas Taylor getting a little bit better field position, try to deal. So since Thomas is now out into D2, he can gunfight down that sideline and get a shot on Sam. Patient, screaming code crossfield. He's in that back Aztec. Probably letting him know that they're at that 50 brick. Oh, and he gets the kill on him. So that's a tough death for Hennessy. But he had to make something happen, man. You know, I can't really fault Hennessy for trying to engage. They're down 1. There's only 2 minutes left to go.
Yeah, Infamous running down the Doritos and closing it out.
Well, that's one of those situations that, hey, if you're going to lose that point, lose it fast.
Yeah.
So we have some time left. And, yeah, just lost a gunfight. But Infamous now going to go up by 2. 2 minutes left.
It's still a tall order. You know, it's a point a minute to tie it up, so...
Infamous's next game is Edmonton Impact at 11.
Yeah, Viper and the baby.
Also not an easy game.
Yeah, I also want to draw your attention to, we're going to be talking about this throughout the day, but there was a young kid. His name is Grayson Manning. He's 12 years old, and he got hit by a car, and he's had 7 surgeries so far, and so we're trying to rally the paintball community to donate some money on his GoFundMe. He's hanging in there. He's still in the hospital and dealing with a long road.
Yeah.
So head to the coach's Facebook, Matt Hodges, or Tiffany Taylor's, and I'll get you guys more information as the day progresses on that. So 2-point spread here. See if Notorious can get back in this match. They get past the 50-yard line here. And end up getting taken out. Options dwindling here for Notorious.
2-on-3. Favor of the Kings.
Getting a little quiet out here right now.
Yeah, maybe the calm before the storm. You know, maybe we'll see some people run down.
Well, ML Kings with his 2-point lead are just trying to figure out where to put the guns right now. Hey, where are these attackers? Here comes a move on the D side right now from Notorious. Bunkers out that wedge.
And dies in the process. So we have a 2-on-1. And not great field position for Notorious. They're just in that 50 brick.
And then Johnson tries his attack, but they're going one at a time.
Yep.
And that leaves Carter Donaldson and one other body behind him alive to spread this lead out a little bit more. I'm wondering if he's just going to so there's no concession from Notorious. They're trying to keep the spread a little closer. Donaldson wasn't going to let the timeout, so it looks like the ML Kings want to play one more. So the Kings will be back to an even point spread here, but they're still sitting at 1 and 2. So they still are in a must-win situation against Houston Heat.
Certainly. And that's a tough situation to be in against Houston Heat.
It ain't over yet. It ain't over yet. No penalties. Hey, Nico for Carter. Nico for Carter.
So Extreme needs 2 points here in 2 minutes, but they got bloody knuckle players. So I expect to see that, Matty.
Yeah, I mean, again, it would be because the Kings, no matter what, they do need to beat Heat. Occasionally, we have a team getting in at 1 and 3, but it hasn't happened in 5 or 6 years.
So we're due, is what you're saying.
Maybe, but most likely not. So they're going to have to beat Heat, but even if they do beat Heat, I mean, it would be nice for the ML Kings to put up one more point here.
Let's talk about it a little bit. Listen, they're going to come hard. They're going to come through all sides. They're going to go out wide.
I need a hop and
Let's get the guns right.
Not getting any penalties.
Right. Let's get the guns
Infamous knows what to expect here from Extreme.
Yeah, this is a little bit different situation. Notorious is going to take a loss. This is a 3-point spread with not much time left. Just depends on what the spread is. With this one, Extreme still has a chance, but they're going to have to, I think it's right around 2 minutes. So we're looking at a minute a point.
Yep.
So they're going to be playing on their toes, putting a guy in, making a move. It's not quite send it completely down the field, have to score a point in a minute 30. It's more try to get some guns downfield. Hopefully you can produce a couple kills and get a 5-on-3 situation and then start making those big dynamic moves. Jumping into it, yeah, so 152. So here comes Extreme. Oh, penalty assessed on Extreme. That's probably going to be the coffin nail. I don't think that is it. So Taylor, and
was that a penalty, Matty?
Well, yeah, there was definitely a penalty thrown as Josh Taylor and George McLean come off. Thomas Taylor also coming off, so yeah, not looking good for Extreme. But they did win a game yesterday, so they're still in this, but now they have to go and beat Dynasty. They're not conceding the point, probably thinking about the spread. And I think that's smart. Hard to score points against Dynasty, hard to put up a big win. Now, can it happen? Of course.
Anything can happen.
Anyone can beat anyone. I mean, Dynasty didn't make Sunday at the last event, so they're beatable. Infamous has a more comfortable spread, so they don't really need to risk too much here.
Yeah, and I don't think they will. Infamous pushing up the Dorito side. Extreme in that little cake in the back center. Probably not the best spot for him.
Pat Kraft getting shot, popping the top. And that is going to do it. So
3-point lead, 30 seconds left. Let's see if Infamous grinds out that clock.
I think they're going to grind the clock. I'd grind out the clock if I was them because they had, they dropped by 2 to Dynasty and beat Ironman by 3. Yeah, so 3-point spread here. You have your second win already. Next game's against Impact. That's going to be a tough one. So that's exactly what they're going to do. So it looks like the final score should be 5-2 in favor of Infamous. So we're going to have a grumpy Rich Telford come up here for this next set.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure I leave before he gets up here.
Not trying to get punched, huh? Smart man, Isaac.
Yeah.
Smart man.
Don't make eye contact.
So talk to me about Paintball Nerd a little bit.
Paintball Nerd, it's, talking to everyone who's enthusiastic about paintball and putting that on the internet for everyone to enjoy.
Where can people find it?
Paintball Nerd on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, paintballnerd.com. And you can see all the full-length interviews on YouTube, Paintball Nerd. You can see clips and different things I do here at the events on Paintball Nerd's Instagram. And if you are enthusiastic about paintball, you are a paintball enthusiast, check it out. You'll love it.
Jumping into this next one here with 27 seconds left to see if the ML Kings can hold off this attack from Notorious. Notorious gets eaten up in the middle of the field. Heavy guns up, doubling up that back center here for the ML Kings. They are going to be losing the South Electronics tower. And another body coming off here for Notorious as the counterpunch with just 6 seconds left to go. I don't think the Kings are going to have enough time.
Looks like he's going to get it.
Maybe. No, he needed about 2 more seconds to put that 6-pointer on the board. Not able to do it.
Great effort, though.
Yeah, great effort and a great game by the ML Kings. Still have an opportunity to progress to Sunday as we take the top 10 teams. But they are going to have to play Houston Heat, and Houston Heat's going to be hungry because they went 1-1 yesterday. So ML Kings 1-2. Looks like evened up on the point spread now. So next set coming at you, it's going to be Chicago Aftershock, undefeated yesterday as they beat the ML Kings and Notorious. They're playing Tampa Bay Damage.
Also undefeated.
Also undefeated. Damage beat the ML Kings and Heat. And then the Ironmen, who did not win a game yesterday, they went undefeated in Texas in the prelims and then took third on Sunday there, but just had a rough one yesterday. So they're going to need to win both games, and they have to play Infamous and Impact. So it's going to be Ironman, Impact, Aftershock, and Damage here on Go Sports 2024 Mid-Atlantic Major League Paintball in Atlantic City. I'm Matty Marshall here on Go Sports. Thank you so much, Isaac.
Thank you, Matty.
Check out Paintball Nerd.
Check it out.
And we'll be right back.
What's up, guys? It's Steven with SVP Paintball here at the NXL Atlantic City Mid-Atlantic Major, and we're on a crazy layout. It's blind for everybody. We've had pro players out here for the last couple hours walking it, trying to get a sense of how to play the layout. But today we're going to walk it ourselves and see what kind of interesting angles there are and things to watch out for as you watch the live broadcast. So let's take a look first at the snake side, and then we'll move over towards the Dorito side. As you walk this layout and as you watch it live, the gaps are massive. It's going to be difficult to get out here wide. Well, I'm sure we'll get a few inside secrets from each of these pro players. But if you come in here, you'll notice that there's quite a few inside angles you can take. And traditionally, in a lot of the snake layouts we've seen this year, you can actually go on the inside. But this one, I would suspect that we'll mostly see people going on the outside into the snake. Quite a few over-the-top shots here, allowing you to apply pressure to the people who will stop you. So if you come here, you'll see the white tower and the can behind it. There's obviously players here that's kind of hard to see. Those are going to be the big players here, stopping people from filtering into the snake on the outside. If you can eliminate those players or apply pressure and put them in, you'll be able to get up into the snake relatively easily, assuming there's no one in the middle, which we'll get into in a little bit. Let's move over here to this Aztec. So as is the case with a lot of Aztecs, you've got a lot of heads up action here to filter out wide. You'll definitely have to put in your mirror to be able to do anything before you move. And again, those same tower and can players are going to be at play stopping you. But you also have a decent amount of pressure that you can apply to the Dorito side of the field, which is awesome. We love to see that. So as you can see, you have a great cross-field shot holding a lot of zone control over on that Dorito side from the can over to that first Dorito. And when we get to that Dorito side, there's going to be a lot of awesome shots over there as well. So let's move over to the back center. All right, so the back center, probably the most crazy, interesting bunker here on the field. This thing's teeny, lots of big gaps to be able to shoot back and to shoot forward from this position. You have visibility of both sides of the field, really great lanes here onto the right side of the can if you're looking this direction, as well as both the Aztec that's up here in the front, as well as the outside shots towards the snake. Lots of visibility here. It'll be interesting to see if we see a double stack in this home bunker, or if we'll have teams trying to opt to only send one player here, because if you get stuck here, you are in a lot of trouble. Filtering out of here after the breakout is going to be pretty difficult, but there's obviously some moves up here towards the middle that we'll get into in a second. Let's now go over to the Dorito side. So as we come over here, one thing we didn't note is there's a lot of shots up the middle and cross-field shots as you get to either of the Aztec or the can on the Dorito side. Now if you come to the Dorito side, you have some visibility of the middle, which as people try to filter up the middle as a secondary move, this is a great angle to take to stop that move. But you also have some pretty decent visibility going on the snake side. You can't stop snake progression, so this is probably just going to be a case when you're wanting to challenge the player. But heads up stuff, a little bit of limited visibility in your mirror and some pretty decent visibility in zone control stopping the Doritos. But as you can see, if the Dorito player gets past that first Dorito and they go low from there, it's going to be pretty hard to stop them from this position. Let's move out to the Dorito 1 now, where arguably my favorite bunker on the field. Dorito 1, very wide bunker, difficult spot to get to, but if you are able to get here, you have amazing cross-field visibility, not only going up to the middle, but also into the snake. This is a great angle to take to apply pressure from. You also have some inside shots towards those Aztecs that we looked at earlier. Again, really great zone control and visibility from here. If you wrap even further, you can also apply pressure to the tower player depending on where they're looking at. So if they're shooting cross, not a thing you have to worry about. You can also shoot at the snake if you want. There's lots of places to shoot inside, but it's always dangerous to do that. Otherwise, heads up, pretty traditional. We love to see it. A true tape once you get past this spot. Otherwise, you can challenge your heads up player if you stand tall. Otherwise, if you go low, you should be able to avoid them for the most part. And then obviously needing to wrap and shoot the can to push up. So lots of action here at this spot. I imagine people will be trying to get here as fast as possible because of all the zone control that you have on the other side. But now let's look at probably my favorite part besides this bunker, which is the middle of the field. All right, so the middle. So much of this field can see this middle. So it's really going to be a matter of timing and making sure that teams scout each other to make sure they know where players like to play, where they like to shoot off the break. like I said, timing is going to be everything and being able to get up to this middle. If you take it off the break, you're probably going to have 2 or 3 guns shooting at you. So let's look at this tower, and then we'll get to that big center bunker. So this bunker here, going to be a really key bunker in stopping the snake. We talked about it when we were over on the snake side. Lots of visibility into the snake, as well as if you wrap a little bit towards the Aztec on the outside of that bunker. Looking over towards the Dorito side, great zone control. There's some people blocking it now, but you do have great visibility and people trying to filter out wide onto the Dorito side, both on the inside, outside of the can, as well as if you back up a little bit, you can see a little bit of the Dorito. Otherwise, if they get past the Dorito 2, this is where you're going to see players switching and holding that next move. That Dorito 2 to Dorito 3 move, this spot has that covered. So the challenge for this spot is going to be to know where to look and when to look. All right, let's now get into this middle area here, where we're going to probably see a lot of action, big bloodbath. There's obviously wedges on either side of the field. This spot is pretty crazy. So the moment we get here, we have to make a decision as far as which side we want to go, where we want to apply pressure. There's tons of bunkers here on the snake side of the field that will have visibility of this the moment they get there. If they get to that 50 hertz bunker and they look inside, this is the first spot they're going to be looking for, as well as anything else that's going on in here. So players knowing which direction to go and when to go is going to be key, but you obviously have lots of opportunity to come up over the top of these and get great visibility to see where the paint's coming in from. You have great open gaps over here on the Dorito side to set up a trap in case people don't see you coming up to the middle. And if we go over to the snake side, you also have great visibility into people who filter into the snake late if you get here early. Again, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to get here and survive. There's probably lots of bounce shots that we'll discover over the course of the tournament, but this field is going to be exciting to watch. I'm very curious to see how it plays out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you live tomorrow.
The game of paintball is a fast-paced, high-intensity sport. But at its heart, the concept is simple. Shoot your opponents before you get shot, and then march down the field to victory. In the Major League Paintball Pro format, each team fields 5 players at a time. They have a buzzer on their side to protect. Hit the opponent's buzzer, win the point. En route to the buzzer, both teams will be locked in gunfights, utilizing diverse strategies while moving up a field full of bunkers, fighting to get into critical positions. And these strategies could change given the score and the time left on the clock. There's 15 minutes in regulation, and the highest point total wins the game. If there is a tie, then a 5-minute overtime period will be played. This is chess with guns, with no quarter given and no quarter requested. Welcome to Major League Paintball.
Welcome back here. Set number 2, day 2 prelim competition going down on center court at the 2024 Mid-Atlantic Major. I'm Matty Marshall with Rich Stelford here on Go Sports. It's Aftershock, going to be taking on Damage, Ironman, and Impact. We got some big names and potentially some big games here for set number 2. Rich, what do you think? Shock, undefeated.
First match of the day?
Yeah, for both squads. Aftershock, undefeated yesterday, pretty decent point margin, and Tampa Bay Damage had 2 very close games, but 2 wins.
Yeah.
They're sitting at a +2.
Should be a really, really good match. That's my prediction. But yeah, I was in next to the Damage pit for the morning, and Damage is pretty fired up. They feel like they've been kind of underperforming. Rainey was down there giving them a little bit of a motivational speech. So I expect them to come out, and obviously they're a much more seasoned team, so we'll see if Shock can continue to be on their path to being a top team again.
Yeah, Shock didn't have any real problems with either
right.
Notorious or ML Kings, but those are the 2 lower-ranked teams, so they got to play the top-ranked teams here. And it looks like first body to drop. Both teams going to be dropping a body. So Tampa Bay Damage going to be on the blue side to start out. Shock on the red side.
Hosky in check, but looks like he's okay. So 4-on-4. Neither team. Hosky now into the 50 snake as Tampa Bay Damage gets into that 50 or Dorito 4 over there on the blue side of the field. Good comps for both teams. Oh,
look at this, though. Big move for Tampa Bay Damages. Oh, my God. Is that Chad Bougier? Chad Bougier with a bowling ball over there, just wrecking shot for Tampa Bay.
Chad's one of those guys that for decades, if you don't have a gun on that guy, he's going to go forward and win a game. But here Hosky going right into the guns. I love that confidence.
Yeah, Hosky so it was Chad Bougier on the D side. Got, I think, at least 1. Maybe did he get 2? I thought maybe another kill was going to come off of that, but as the dust settles from that chaos, Hosky is all the way onto Tampa Bay Damage's side because Tampa Bay lost a couple bodies as well. So it's a little bit of a bloodbath first point. Some big moves by some individuals. Hosky is just posted up on that Aztec.
And he's playing good. He's taking a lot of pressure here. I don't know if he knows that center belt South Electronics bunker is hot or not.
I'm wondering if Thomas Kim knows that Hosky's this far up.
He does now. He just came and head checked him. Oof, good spot. Man, if Hosky can pull off this, that's a feather in his cap.
Yeah, that'll go on the list. So Hosky's going to come through, and does he? God, he's basically got that little 2-pack here. Possible to close for...
Wow.
Hosky is going to complete the 2-pack, so steps up for Shock. Might have got all 3 of them. There were still 3 bodies left alive for Damage, and I think Hosky might have put a ball on all 3 of those players.
Listen, Matt, if you're a kid out there in the paintball world and you're like, hey, man, how do I get starting spins on a pro team as a new guy? That's how you do it. You pick that team up, put them on your back, go for it in a high pressure situation, and produce.
Yeah, well, he must have head checked over there towards the D side and saw Chad Bougier. I think he was in Shock's D1.
Yeah, he's like, it's only Tampa Bay Damage. It's only 3-on-1. I've got this.
Yeah, I couldn't see because he was blocked out from me on the other side of that bunker if it was Chris Horn or Chad Bougier. But we're in the pits right now with Shock, and there's the hero of that last point for Shock to give him a 1-point lead. Ryan Hoskinson, a.k.a. Hosky. Everyone has a hard time pronouncing his last name. I'm like, why do we call you Hosky? He's like, no one can say my last name, man. So just call me Hosky. I'm like, oh, yeah, no problem. That one's easy to say.
You know what? I think you could say his last name. I have that much confidence in you. Great scene of the casinos in the background with the mist over there. Both teams breaking out. Ironman for the red side. Ooh. Oh, penalty.
Penalty on impact to start things out. So they do shoot a body for the Ironman as Kyle Nicolau taking the walk from the D side. So it's a 4-on-3 situation here in favor of the Ironman. New kid.
3-on-3, Matt.
Brody Lewis getting the lion's share of the spins, doing this.
He's really fast.
Yeah, apparently he's a legit, going to college on a potential track scholarship. So,
well, Brody, get out of paintball as quickly as you can then. If you're a real athlete, for God's sakes.
Man, it's not a ton of money in track unless you're Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
So
yeah, penalty on impact. That was a forced trade there on Geiger. From Mikey Arena.
Yeah, so Lewis kind of, oh my God, there's just referees converging all over the players. It might have been a major as they pull out both those bodies. That's going to throw the point to the Ironman here. So yeah, impact a little bit of a head scratcher.
Well, and it's very un-impact like, right? They don't usually get penalties. They don't usually make mistakes.
I mean, it's like every team is going to make a few mistakes and get some penalties, but with the success that Impact has had in their careers, when we see guys die early, we're like, ooh, unconventional, or it's unconventional early death, or that guy doesn't get a lot of penalties. So the fact they just started with 2 is, but at least it happened early, right?
Yeah.
Still a lot of time. Yeah, they spotted the first point to the Ironman. I also like that Brody Lewis goes up to the 50 and then retreats back, kind of setting the trap for Urena, and it worked out for him.
Yeah. And I don't know if we talked about this earlier, but hats off to Impact for making Sundays for 14 years in a row. Dynasty is the best team in the world, but Impact can really make a strong case for also being the 1.5 best team in the world. 14 years, never missing a Sunday. Amazing job, Impact. Good job, guys.
Yeah, they missed Sunday at the last one, but they're going to be extra hungry. Sometimes when you're extra hungry,
for sure,
extra tenacious, that's when those penalties can set in. That's why the young teams get a lot of penalties. First body coming off right now, Tampa Bay Damage, Rainey Stanzik. Oh, they're going to be losing another body on that D side with Horn.
That's Horn, yeah. So 5-on-3 advantage here for Aftershock, already winning the first point. Hosky going from the Snake's insert into the Hertz bunker at the 50 Snake. He's going to look inside, try to put pressure crossfield in that can. Tampa Bay has no one out on the bad move. Ryan went ahead and tried to challenge Keith Brown, and Keith Brown put him in the dirt. So 4-on-3 advantage now for Aftershock as everyone watches the 4-shot guys in the back watch Hosky walk off.
So now Keith, after killing Hosky, going to move up to that 50-yard line.
Yeah, I don't think they know he's there. Snake. If he wraps and kills A-Rod, I'm going to be very disappointed in A-Rod. A-Rod and Corey Hall are both playing like they don't think Keith is in that the Chicago or the Hertz bunker there on the 50 Snake. And if Keith comes and wraps, he's going to kill them both.
A-Rod's looking for it. Left hand or right hand side of your screen. Alex Rodriguez, the bully for Chicago, after bully for every team he's played for. And
just a bully in general.
MVP performances and became paintball famous by just being a murder machine up the middle of the field.
Corey Hall releasing from the Dorito can to the Dorito Small Temple inside of D2, D3. Good comps for both teams. Great shot there of Keith Brown. In that 50 Hertz bunker looking inside. Tampa Bay Damage lost 2 on the break. It was a 5-on-3 advantage for Aftershock. Aftershock squandered Ryan Hosky, trying to make a move on Keith Brown, got caught, paid the price.
So still 4-on-3 here currently, but with Keith Thorne in Aftershock's side.
And you can see Keith from that illustration on the screen can lock up the whole center of that field, so it gets really, really hard for Shock to move into that gap, so they got to kind of move around the outside of it.
Yeah, so we're looking at this bounce shot telestration. Keith trying to attempt the bounce shot from the tower into that Aztec. And it's just tough with the blind layout to figure out these bounce shots as quick as possible. I mean, if you can figure out a lethal bounce shot before somebody else does, it's definitely going to give you a big advantage.
Yeah, but on the blind layout, one of the things I like about Keith taking the walk there, big kill there for Aftershock. 4-on-2 advantage now for Shock. That's going to turn the tides in this game. But yeah, one of the things I like about a blind layout, Matty, is that you don't know all those bounce shots, right? Like some of them will be developed by Sunday, some that are actually kind of a big part of the game. But we're not going to start with that. Oh, Shock drops another Matty. 4-on-1 advantage now for Shock. Going to win the second point in this match.
Yeah, Shock looking pretty good here. They did not come out flat.
Tampa Bay Damage has got to do a better job of surviving the breakout. They can't afford to play Shock down 2 points, 3-on-5 or 4-on-5, right? They've got to at least be 5-on-5.
Yeah, and with the grinders that Damage had yesterday, they had 2 wins.
Yeah,
but it was a battle. Overtime. Yeah, it was right? a battle against the ML Kings. That was a 1-point win, and then a real tight battle against Houston Heat, 3-2 win there. And typically, when you have very close battles in the prelims, I mean, if you're just smoking everyone and putting up huge scores, like look at what Legion did yesterday. How much are you actually really learning? You're definitely learning, but when you are forced to have those very harsh conversations with each other to figure out all these variables out here, it kind of can super speed your ability to play this field. Impact going to be losing a body here off the break as Zach Yakmak getting shot trying to get to that back corner bunker on the Snake side.
Yeah, 5-on-4 advantage here as the referee's running in and checking the second player for Impact. Looks like they're okay. Oh, JC getting shot now. 3-on-5 advantage for Ironman, Matt.
Yeah, this is, again, just a little uncharacteristic here. Impact typically really good. I mean, yesterday, Impact looked pretty solid. They beat New York Stream by 5 and then beat Dynasty in overtime by 1. So they're sitting on a +6. 2-0, undefeated, but just getting off to a real rough start here.
Yeah, Dalton's flying up that D side and getting Impact back in this game. Getting in check now, though.
Omaro taking the walk here for the Ironman.
Yep, didn't see that move. Two Impact players going up the tape now.
So now a couple bad deaths for the Ironman, throwing away this high body situation that they had on Impact.
33, Matty. Good fill to the corner there from Nick Laval. Outside looking in from that Snake corner. Ironman switched from offense to defense. They were up on bodies. They didn't have good containment on the D side. Impact was able to take advantage of that. Dalton gets up to that D4, gets a kill on 2 Ironman. Now it's a 3-on-3 and Impact is right back into this match. Yeah, that D side is kind of getting the side that if you're going to try to make a big move, it's easier to get up on that side because it's so easy to cancel the snake out.
Yeah, well, Dalton's in a really good position right now. He's onto their side. Well, at the 50-yard line and the D4. He's got a body right behind him as well, too.
Yeah, it's like the 45-yard line, right?
Yeah, and then Nick Laval is the island over here on the snake side.
Good call. And you know Nick Laval understands. Oh, Ironman player taking a walk from that death can. I think that's Tom Guest. Tom should have tried to get out of there. The longer you stay, if they're in the Doritos and the snake, the longer you stay in the can of death, the more likely you're going to die.
Rich, the fact that Impact lost both of the guys that played really well for him yesterday with JC and Zach initially off the break, and they were in a real big, bad, low-body situation, just what a great job by the three players out there. Nick Laval stayed alive on the island, and then, so I think that's Reeser and Cornell. Yeah, Trevor Reeser and Brandon Cornell just really stepped up on that D side.
Sorry, Brandon. Yeah, great. And I think the mistake there the Ironman made is they didn't press their advantage when they were 5-on-3. They kind of sat back and just let Impact develop out on the D side. Brandon makes those big moves over there. I don't know which one was in front. I'm assuming Brandon makes those big moves over there, gets those 2 key kills, and it goes to 3-on-3. And then again, Ironmen stay on defense. They don't redevelop into better positions. They don't switch from defense to offense and start attacking. They just wait and kind of try not to lose the point instead of trying to go out and win the point.
And that's just a tip of hat and respect to both Cornell and Reeser over there because
Touche.
they realize, hey, okay, well,
we got to go, right?
Yeah, we have to go. It's not looking good for us.
That's the best thing on the field, right? We lose a couple guys. Hey, no pressure on me.
Yeah,
I'm going to go try to win this game,
You're not
guys.
supposed to win 3-on-5.
Nope. A-Rod over the top of back center. See if he gets a kill on the break.
Oh, Chad Bougier and
damage
Jacob
dropping
Edwards taking the walk early.
And what did I say, Maddie? Oh, they did get a kill this time. 4-on-3 advantage here for Shock as Hosky releases. Shock also gets into that Dorito 4. Now on Tampa Bay Damage's side of the field into their Dorito 4. Now they're Dorito 3. No one's slowing down the Dorito side from Aftershock.
Yeah, Parrish is just off to the races over there. He's all the way on to Tampa Bay Damage's side already.
Yeah, Keith Brown is super isolated here in that 50 snake. They fill into the snake corner behind him.
Yeah, it just puts well, good thing that Brian Smith got out of that Aztec.
Yeah, for sure. A-Rod's going to have to try to find out where these bodies are. He's releasing to the can over there. Keith Brown looking for options, trying to find out where. Oh, this might be bad here in the center of the field. Keith Brown has somebody sneaking up on the inside of him, but gets caught. Hosky went to make the move. Like, hey, guys, don't shoot him. That was my opportunity. It was going to look super cool there. Yeah. Man, Shock looks good.
Yeah, Shock does look real good.
But it's good. It's easier to look good when you shoot 2 guys on the break and then you attack, right?
Yeah, they're chainsawing people in half off the break. 3 points in a row. In the pits here with Shock. Let's check it out.
Hey, maybe Thomas. 14 seconds. Way to be, Rod. Way to be, Haas. Way to be, LJ. Hey, I finished in the shot. The second ended up flipping me on my wrap, though. Yeah, we shot the Randall and the Delta. Yeah. Hey, Detroit. When we hit that, it's Detroit. Detroit.
I think I heard that once, but I didn't hear it again, so I wasn't sure.
I died when it happened, so I...
Listen.
I can let you know when you get next one.
Jumping back into this next one here, all tied up at 1. And the Ironman going to be losing body on the break.
5-on-4 advantage for Impact as they attack into that Dorito 4 again and into the snake.
Yeah, both teams crawling a body up into this spot. Seen this time and time again. We're going to continue to see it. But the guys have been more content to be in that position, not necessarily just running around and trading out.
Yeah, there's a pretty big gap past that D4, too, to get into the other team's side of the field. And you can't really stop it from the D side. You can only stop it from the snake side. So you got to come over here on the outside, look inside. But if you do that, then it takes your offense away from this tape. So it's a challenge.
Well, yeah, I mean, and here, so Keith DeVitt's going to run through. He did get taken out by Zupa. But, teams sending a body to that Aztec to try to protect that player and then try to have a body also at the wedge to filter in after that spot's cleared out. And that's what's going to happen here for Edmonton Impact. So they still got a double stack of players here on the snake side. Getting to the 50-yard line. Now we're looking at the D side.
And like we talk about so many times, it's not necessarily the first guy into that key position on a bunker or on a field that wins the point for you. Sometimes it's the second, sometimes it's the third. You have to own that spot, and you have to get your kills from that spot. And when you lose that first guy, oftentimes the team that refills that position is more successful.
So there's the crossfield spread here for Impact in a 4-on-3 situation. And there's the angle. Those gaps cross field, that gap from D2 to D3.
Yeah, good cross-field shots.
Impact's D-side's been looking good.
Yeah.
Looks like Damian Vasquez getting a spin. And he's at D2. He's got a body behind him at that can that we've been calling that the trash can or the bunker of death, because it's tough to live in there. I mean, you can see how he's leaning into it as much as he can.
Yeah.
It's Henry Sense, so he's leaning in, using his gun, and has to be concerned about the angle from
100%.
the 50 brick.
And what we talked about a little bit yesterday, Maddie, and this is opinion based, is I feel like the Ironmen play better when they play a little more offensively, right? And in this situation, they've allowed Impact to get to all the key positions, and now Impact, a really smart, methodical team that doesn't make any mistakes, are all in the key positions, and you've put your team in a really tough position. Like the Ironmen had an opportunity. There was 4-on-4, right? They were in all the same spots. Impact did a better job of getting to all the key bunkers, and now applying a lot of pressure to the Ironmen. And Impact knows the more time they burn off this clock, assuming they're going to win this point, the better it is for them, so they can play a long, slow point, work on 2 or 3 guys working on one spot at a time, get that elimination, and work forward. And Ironmen are just crossed up. The can is crossed, the temple is crossed, the Doritos crossed.
Yeah, neither team with the lead. So this one could go a little bit longer.
Yeah,
but Impact does have that double stack of bodies, just one on that side for the Ironmen into D2. But just being
great
really
fill
safe.
to the corner.
Yeah, Sense gets out of that
Great move from
tough
Henry.
hand. And then here goes the fill outside wide for Zupa.
Great fill for Zupa, too. Henry's getting the check, but it looked like he was clean over there to me. Good move from Henry getting outside. If this other Ironman player could get out to this corner, he'd be in a slightly better position, too, from the snake insert.
Yeah, a little bit of a long point here, down to 8:37 to go.
Oh, they don't know that they're... Is that Zupa? Who's that in the snake for Impact?
Yeah, Zupa, snake, too. Jarula.
Oh, sorry, Jarula. Yeah, Jarula gets into the Ironman snake, and they have no idea he's there.
Zupa's behind him. Jarula's
Right.
all the way onto the Ironman side.
Yeah,
Geiger
Jarula's just snuck in there. He missed his shot on the temple, so they might know he's there now.
Geiger's just tucked in as much as he possibly can here, Rich. Oh, but he gets that crossfield kill.
Yeah, he
on...
gets 1, gets 2. Now he gets 3.
Jarula. Matt Jarula stepping up here for Impact. They're going to take a lead. Well played. Crispy. Looking crispy out there.
That was sneaky, too. Just crawled right in there like it was no big deal.
So calm, methodical, but aggressive at the same time. You love to see it.
Guys, I've got this. Everyone just chill. I'm going to crawl down the field.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot 3 dudes. No big deal.
Didn't look frantic in there.
No, he's fine. Hey, can I get a water?
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Trust you when you're not doing, you know what I'm saying?
In the pits right now with Impact. Matt Jarula with a possible 3-pack to close. Good job by Zupa to be behind him as well, too. And that also happened because they had 2 bodies on that D side far up there and absorbing a lot of pressure. So initially it wasn't looking good for Impact, but and of course it's Impact. They tightened it up real quick, and now they got a lead.
Tampa Bay Damage has to be scratching their head a little bit here. What do you think they need to do, Matt? I know what I think.
Well, I mean, they need to live off the break.
Yes, they do.
Find a way to shoot bodies on the break, which they're typically really good at.
Yep.
Then keep at least 4 alive. So they go inside out to D3. So they go hyper aggressive and risk that body with, I believe, Horn, and then they double up the back center and then release from there. So this is a nice little play call here for and well executed for Tampa Bay.
Aftershock did bounce the player going to the can on the D side, but bounces don't count. He's alive.
So not only does Damage have 5 players alive, but they're in really good positions within 10 seconds.
They're in the spots they want to be.
Yeah, Snake 2 with Keith. Rainey's up at the wedge, and then I believe Horn all the way up into D3, which he took off the break with the inside and out run, kind of looking like Karslev over there.
Yeah, and Keith and Rainey in those 2 positions, Matty, can kind of control the whole field, right? Keith can protect Rainey. Rainey can protect Keith. As long as there's anyone alive on the D side of the field for Damage, those 3 guys in those 3 key positions can really work together and make it very hard for Aftershock to go forward. But Aftershock's up by 3 points.
Yeah, and Shock's in some defensible positions right now. They didn't risk. They haven't launched Hosky yet. He's chilling at the wedge. There middle of your screen, and then they were also able to get a body into D2. So they have 5 bodies alive, and they got a good, decent crossfield spread.
That's a really good point, Matt. Hosky has been playing hyper-aggressively up here, right? So Rainey and Keith are set up to trap Hosky, right?
Yeah.
But great play call from Todd. Like, hey, Hosky, hold back, man. You've gone through and destroyed him 2 or 3 points. Just chill back here. Let them tie up 2 or 3 guns in this position, thinking that you're going to do something up here.
Well, and to also further that story and that discussion, it also could burn a little clock off because now Damage is prepared for some like the aggressive Hosky, and then Hosky chills at that wedge for a little bit. It could take him 45 seconds, a minute to be like, oh, okay, well, they're playing defense right now.
Man, you never know what a Hosky's going to do, bro. He could be, he could be flying down the field one game. He could be defense the next game. But, yeah, good play call there for Todd. They got both teams are all in the right spots, but it's tough for this cross right here on the Snake side. It can be shut down. Obviously, Shock knows how to shut it down, so they're making it challenging for Keith and for Rainey to produce out of those positions. Going to force them to try to go up and trade out bodies, and that's a tough thing to do on the outside of that bunker. A lot of people getting caught going around.
Well, Tampa Bay has now repositioned a bit. They own that 50, and with Rainey, and Rainey's looking inside.
Yeah,
and then they also have D2. So
yeah, from that position, Rainey can put more pressure on that D-side can, right, Maddie?
Yeah, and the can has his back because the can's focusing towards that D side.
Yeah, that's.
And you got to be real careful if you're Corey. Oh, so Rainey comes through, tries to bunker somebody out. Nobody there to bunker, sacrifices his body. I mean, I love Rainey's creativity, but maybe got some bad communication.
Yeah.
As there wasn't anyone there to shoot.
And again, Hosky's been there every single point, right? So they're like, hey, Hosky's going to go here. Wait till he hears his gun. He didn't hear his gun, so he's like, hey, he's got to be there. He's just waiting, so I'll go get him.
Now, it's not disaster for Damage.
Nope.
They're only down 1, and they have the field spread. They have some good positions with Keith out in Snake 2 still, and Horn in D3.
Yeah, Horn's still playing like he thinks Hosky's in that bunker, Matty. Can you see how tight he is in that D3?
Yeah, he's very tight. He's totally focused on
trying to
keeping
protect
his gun
Keith.
inside.
Yeah, trying to protect Keith, trying to be a good player. Really shooting crossfield. Keith is going over to the top, trying to shoot Hosky in that bunker, and then Hosky's just never been there.
Yeah, so it looks like they went with both Horn and Bougier. Bougier's at that can. I like that.
I do too, because with Chad up on his feet like that, he can kind of look for that seam, and if he sees that seam, his acceleration is so fast, he'll be on your side of the field before you know it.
Well, look, Chris is getting real good. I keep hearing nothing but just amazing things out of his skills. His skill set just keeps improving, and he's a grinder. But Chad Bougier has been so lethal for Damage, it's hard to take him off the field.
For sure. That's just like you need a good snake side package, right? You need a good D-side package, and that's a strong D-side package.
Well, it's
gives
tough.
You a lot of options.
We'll have Joey up here probably talk to him about it, but it's also tough because then you got to sit Jacob, and Jacob's been a hero for him so many times. If you go with Horn and Chad at the same time,
if I'm coaching Jacob, I only bring him in for one-on-ones. I only bring him in for. I want him sitting on a gold throne,
just waiting,
eating grapes with a couple girls fanning him, and I'm like, Jacob, one-on-ones, let's go. He gets up, puts the shield on, goes smashes people.
He is the one-on-one ringer.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste him in a 5-on-5 engagement. I don't want him to lose any of that one-on-oneness. Shock getting out to that snake corner, Matty. Great position there defensively. If he looks to get into Snake 2 from that corner, go Snake 1 to Snake 2. If he gets to look in Snake 2, he can shut down the center of the field and keep the guy from wrapping, Keith Brown from wrapping if Keith goes forward into that Hertz bunker.
So Thomas Kim's now going to crawl up into Snake 1. And this has been a really long point. We're down to 5 minutes and 10 seconds left to go. Again, Damage could drop this game and still be okay. I mean, depending on the spread, they could drop both their games. But the problem is the spread. Because Damage is they're 2-0, but they're only +2.
Right.
So they cannot let this game get out of hand.
Well, and we all know Joey pretty well. We all know Damage guys. No matter what the spread, they don't like losing points. They don't like losing games. So they take this stuff real, real seriously. And whether they go in with a 2-on-2, or 3-on-1, they're going to be pissed that they lost any games. If that's the way this game breaks down. But Damage has to do a job here, Matty. They've got to figure out. It's 4:30 left, man. If they want to win this point, then they need to start switching to offense, start moving those guys out of that back line, the Snake Temple and the Dorito Can.
Now, they might be playing some...
they could be margining it.
Well, they could be margining it because their next game is against Notorious.
Yep.
And Notorious has lost all 3 of their matches as they dropped to the ML Kings, so they're going to be out. And Notorious is missing 3 of their starters. So maybe they're thinking, okay, we let this game get out of hand in the beginning. We're now down by 3. We can't let this margin get crazy, and now we're down a body. So now we just have to go try to beat the brakes off of Notorious and go 2-2, but get that positive point spread into like +2, +3 situation. Because if they were thinking anything else, they'd be probably trying to risk it a little. We'll know in the next 50 seconds or so because they need 3 just to tie. So if they're not going to start risking it, they're definitely trying to.
It looks like they're not trying. They did get out of that can into the D1 for Damage, so it's slightly more offensive. There goes the move from the corner into Snake 2. That's a great move. That guy does a really good job of putting pressure on the D side, shutting down the center of the field. Keith Brown's kind of isolated over here in this Snake 2 by himself with 3 Aftershock players kind of putting energy this way. That clock's getting low, right, Maddie?
Yeah, well, still not at the 3-minute mark yet, but.
Well, I thought Keith Brown was going to go there.
And we've seen some we've seen some fast points out here on this field.
For sure.
We've seen some 20-second points, 25-second points. So as long as Damage can pull within 2 with probably around 2 minutes, maybe even a minute 45, still possible. It's just Shock's just been so lethal off the break.
It's the move out of the back line for Damage. Damage is now, he's going to come up and run through there, Matty. He's going to go up and try to trade out that body. Not knowing that body's there. A-Rod's on the cut from the back center. A-Rod's going to try to catch him when he comes around.
Yeah, it's just they're still looking at 5 guns.
Yeah, but they're in the positions they need to be in, right? They've got 2 out on the D side, 2 out here on the Snake side. Now they've got to execute in the next 30 to 45 seconds.
Well, how much paint? It looks like Thomas has shot his pack dry. I think Hosky might have shot his pack dry. I don't see anything on Corey's back. These guys are kind of getting down to what they have in their hoppers here.
Yeah, sniper ball.
Hence the reason for the lull in the gunfire.
Chad comes back inside from D1 to the Dorito can. He's looking inside, trying to support Keith over here.
Yeah, Chad Bougere just checked his pack. I think he might be out of bullets too.
Yeah, and the D side is locked down. Shock's got 3 hard guns D side, so Damage has to read that pressure and be like, hey, there's no way we can get through this gap. We have to shift body Snake side. So Chad maybe goes through the middle or comes to Snake side.
A-Rod just had a nice little throw and a nice little catch to Corey Hall. Tossed him a pod. So hey, Corey's got at least...
True professionals. He's
got at least a pod in his hopper.
True professionals out there. Yeah, I think Chad made the right read coming off that D side. I don't think they can push up the D with those guys on those cuts. They've got 3 hard cuts on the Dorito side of the field. Does Aftershock. A-Rod getting out this way is only going to make it worse. Now he can engage on the Snake side and the D side from that bunker.
I mean, that was nice of A-Rod because he's got to be getting down on bullets too.
Yeah. Well, now he can pressure this 50 Snake here. Keep him from wrapping.
Keith Brown risking it up and over the top. Need to try to make something happen here. Tampa Bay wants to at least to put 1 point on the board. Only a minute and 5 seconds left, so probably not going to win this one. And they get the shot in on. Yeah, bad death for Thomas Kim.
Over the top. Come on, Thomas.
Keith Brown gunfighting right now with A-Rod.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's got to go if they want to win this, man.
A-Rod puts Keith in, and then he makes his move out wide to get a little more defensible position. Here comes A-Rod. He's actually going to launch on the attack. He goes in, and the body dropping right now. Chris Horn takes the walk. Chad Bougere takes over the attack, and here comes a double dose of attackers up the middle. As they shoot A-Rod, they shoot Hosky, and they both trade, though, and Corey Hall is still alive in this, and then Corey gets the shot in a one-on-one situation against Chad Bougere. Oh, there's 2. No, and then also Parrish is still alive.
I was going to say, it had to be Parrish. There was somebody I missed because Rainey was looking the other way.
So if Shock now, they could put this 4th point on the board because they've shot everybody.
Yeah.
And they got 20 seconds left, and then Parrish using his speed doesn't need to hit the buzzer. Yeah, I was going to say probably just going to post up and wait until we get down low. But what a complete performance from Chicago Aftershock. They shut Tampa Bay Damage down. They shot way more bodies on the break. And then that was just a masterful, controlled defensive position to protect that margin. Not only that, they absorbed the attack, and they're going to win this game 4-0. Shock already with that new roster revived a legendary name looking legit. 3-0 here and 100%. Some high margin too. Their last game is going to be against Houston Heat, and Heat lost a game yesterday. They got to play the ML Kings next.
Let's fucking go. Here we go, Hockey.
In the pits with Shock.
Big game.
Feeling it right now. Good job, Todd Squad and the boys from Shock.
Oh, motherfucker. Hey, way to fucking be. Way to fucking be, baby. Way to be. Hey. Come on. Let's go.
Good to see Todd happy.
Get some. Beautiful. Beautifully executed against an incredibly difficult team. Damage has been fierce the past 2 seasons with 3 wins, 2 second places. So when you shut out them, put up 4 points, they could win this tournament. Jumping back in after a long wait, so 8 minutes left to go in this one. Both teams dropping a body early. So
yeah.
4-on-4.
Ironman shoot one, but then hard bounce to back center. Back center takes a bounce, so 4-on-4. Impact attacking on the Snake side. 3-player Snake side, 1-player back center. Nobody Dorito side for Impact, which is different. Oh, they let Impact fill from back center out into the Dorito can. That was a bad zone control there. Should not have let that guy get out.
Yeah, Trevor Reeser tucking in. Laval at the wedge. Sack alive behind Laval, and they have that real estate here at that 50-yard line. So a little bit better field position here, Rich, for Edmonton Impact.
Yep, Brandon taking the walk. Impact up. Oh, Ironman drop another one and get a penalty. Ironman might want to think about conceding this point. Ironman lose another attacker D-side. 4-on-1 advantage here for Impact.
Yeah, Ironman should probably concede this point. They're letting it run out, though. I mean, the issue for the Ironman is they lost both their games yesterday. So they have to win both today, so might as well just concede the point. It's only going to be a 2-point lead, but they've got to clean things up, man. You know, a little bit of a messy day yesterday, too many mistakes, and that continues to happen here. I mean, they started out nicely against Impact, but Impact figured it out and tightened it up right away. And it's just been, I believe, 3 unanswered here now for Edmonton Impact.
Hey, it's a tough bracket, man. There's a lot of good teams in that bracket.
Yeah, again, this is bracket D.
And D stands for death.
Yeah, Dynasty, Ironman, Impact, Infamous, New York Extreme. That's a tough shake.
That's a tough shake.
As we've been talking about.
Oh, you mean the finals? That's the finals? Yeah, that's a good finals bracket.
Well, as we've been talking about, there's no easy real games out here anymore.
Not anymore.
But
those games are gone.
But some divisions are going to be a little harder than others, and that's arguably the hardest. B's pretty rough, too, with Shock, Revo, Aftermath, Fit, and Diesel down in that Tier 5.
Diesel go 1-1 yesterday? Sorry, my brain's a little...
Yeah, Diesel 1-1. They lost to Revo by 1 and then beat Aftermath by 1. So 1-1, even on the point spread.
That's not bad. Have opportunities today.
Clint looked really good yesterday for him. Cody Mikowski looked really good for him yesterday for the most part.
Yeah.
Hey, Steven, turn your hopper on.
I guess when I dove in, they shot me in my mouth. I asked the ref for a check. He said you're all good.
Oh, make sure.
20 seconds.
No problem. Yeah, I just have to try to make something happen.
It was 4-4, and then we got fouled.
It was good. Yeah. All right, we are in X-Ball. Everybody be ready. I shot my pod back. I asked the ref for a check so I did feel something, and then he came and checked me, so I was good.
Matty, there's a lot of parity in this league.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that, Ironman went 4-0 at the last event.
And took third.
And could possibly go 0-4 here.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Still got a decent amount of paintball to play, but yeah, it's not looking good right now against Impact.
It's hard out here, man.
6:25, 5-on-5 break. Oh no, actually Impact going to be dropping that body.
Yeah, I don't understand how that's not a penalty.
Urena, and they do get the shot in on Geiger though, so yeah, 4-on-4 situation. Kyle out wide here for the Ironman, and he's going to get the kill.
Impact drops another one. I think that's Dalton taking the walk. I don't understand. We got to get some clarity on the penalties, because if a player is hit and they're crawling down the field, right, with a hit on him, and ref has to go in and pull him out, that's a 1-for-1. It's interesting.
So Impact down a body right now to the Ironman.
Ironman need to press this advantage, Matt.
Yeah, they need to be careful, though, because they're down to 5:46 to go and only with a one-body advantage, so they can't get reckless quite yet. But, yes, they do need to press this advantage.
Yeah, they definitely don't need to get reckless, but they can't do what they did in the past, which is sit back and just try to play a long, slow point and a penalty.
Major penalty assessed here on the Ironman.
Oh, major. Sorry, man. I thought it was a yellow. I was like, they're okay. They're only losing 2, but, yeah, that's the point.
So the Ironman had a 4-on-3 and get a major and just throws the point away to Impact. Just too many mistakes, man. Too many mistakes. But kind of what you were saying, what a difference. Because
what a difference a tournament makes.
Yeah, well, it's so look, the Ironman just put this team together. They basically cut everyone that was on the team last year, went back and completely rebooted, and immediately did not immediately, but right at the second event, looking pretty good, man. Undefeated in the prelims, a third, as we were speaking about. And then that was, then Thursday is when they took the third, making it into the semifinals, and then they come into the prelims here, and they just start making all these mistakes. So, and I talked to Henry Sense and Zach Geiger on the walk-in to work today, and they were brutally honest with themselves. I was like, yeah, man. I mean, it's not a giant mystery. You guys were just you were reacting to what was happening out there, and not being the ones actually setting the tempo and the pace. Too much reaction, not enough action,
100%.
and too many mistakes.
Too much counterpunch.
Penalties, deaths out of your spots, losing to too many bodies, and then guys are trying to reposition based on those deaths. And it's just totally different than what we saw in Texas.
100%. I would like to say I really respect the fact that you guys are walking in. You know, it's best for the environment. I know it's a long way to hotel, but the fact that you guys are strapping your stuff in and walking in, I have a lot of respect. I'm not going to do that myself, but I really respect you for doing that, Matt. Thank you.
Got to get my steps in.
I think the whole world is thanking you, actually. Keep up the good work, guys.
So Impact here, good, big gift in that last one, but I mean, other than that first point, really like how Impact has been looking out here. They yesterday, they learned this field real fast. They were murdering people on the break against you guys, shooting bodies out of their spots, and then they had a gritty game against Dynasty to go undefeated on day one. Slow start, gave the Ironman that first one, but then it's just been all Impact. So,
yeah.
And with the All-Stars on that squad, just no surprise that on this blind layout, they're figuring things out really fast. Good, tip of the hat respect to the leadership of the team as well, too, with Bart and Dave.
Yeah, it's a great culture and a great program, right? And that it shows if you can show up to a non-layout field that you haven't practiced before and perform better than everybody else, that means your system is better adapting to the changes, and that means you guys are going to be successful.
Yeah, a little technical timeout here, and also tragedy has struck as a really well-liked kid, 12 years old, Grayson Manning, was in a tragic accident, got hit by a car.
Good Texas paintball kid. We'd like to support him as much as we can.
Yeah, and it was on Father's Day, heartbreaking. And so he's still alive, fighting for his life, had 7 surgeries to reconstruct his spine, his jaw. He's still in a coma, but he did open his eyes yesterday. So make sure you head to the Facebook page, Matt Hodges, the coach's Facebook page, or go to Tiffany Taylor, Thomas Taylor's wife, and get that GoFundMe information.
Thank you so much.
Let's go, boys.
Ironman coming back out, going against Impact. I only see 4-man walking, and that could have been the pause there, Matty, just reviewing the tape to see if the Ironman had enough bodies to pull. If they don't have enough bodies from the preceding penalty point, then you lose another body here, so there'll be a 4-on-5 advantage for Impact on the break in a match where they don't really need any advantages.
Yeah, look, Impact's going to be sitting pretty after this. Well, we'll see. I mean, there's just not that much time, and the Ironmen have been grinding gears, so we'll see if they can flip it up. But, I mean, if Impact can win this, regardless of the spread, they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because then they'll have those 3 wins, and then they're just going to have to go into that last game with Infamous and not let it get out of hand. Just don't want to play. When you go 3-1, again, they could definitely beat Infamous as well, too, of course, but a win here would, once you get that 3rd win, you kind of take a little bit of a deep breath, because you know you're going to most likely be playing on Sunday. So clock still has still stopped. Looking at the Ironman here, Tom Guest, new kid on the block here, Brody Lewis, first event here with the Ironman. And according to Shane, I would like to race if Keith or Mouse is down for it.
Okay, Keith or Mouse. I think you should race
not me
first,
no.
And then race Keith or Mouse just to see where your speed's at.
I'm pretty sure I could still get you. Yeah, I'll bet some money on that.
Okay.
Oh, you think you're going to beat me in a race?
I definitely will knock your ass out and run down the field.
I was going to say.
I mean, if there's enough money involved, I wouldn't punch you for like $1,000. But if you're talking like $10,000, I will definitely punch you for it. Punch my mom.
But yeah, I'd like to race Brody and either Keith or
Keith
Mouse.
is what I'd like to see. Yeah, well, Mouse too. Mouse is like fast but 9 feet tall, right? So it's like it's a bigger, longer stride, and he takes a big step.
Well, considering how big Mouse is, it's pretty impressive that he has that much speed.
What would be cool is do like a 20, 30, 40, right? Like who wins the 20, who wins the 30, who wins the 40.
Brody, not a small kid either. He's only 17 years old.
That kid's
but Tom Guess is a big dude, and when he stands next to Tom, Tom's not towering over Brody. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing Brody's got to be probably 6'1", 6 foot.
What do the Ironmen have to do, Matty?
Stop making mistakes. Stop getting penalties. Stay alive on the break. Stop blowing high body situations.
Yeah, running and shooting to the corner in a 4-on-5 advantage or disadvantage might not be a good call from that player. Ironman already down 2, Matt. I guess if you're going to win or lose this point, you want to lose it fast, right?
Yeah, there's still 5 minutes left, but they do get a shot on Zach.
2-on-4 advantage Impact. Impact's got to find out where the two Ironman player are. They have no pressure on them because they're up on points. Plenty of time left in this match. Ironman, on the other hand, have to figure out how to get through 4 players. Looks like Omara and Guest are the last 2 remaining Ironmen. 2 very talented players, but they're playing against 4 very talented players, and that's mathematically a tough situation.
Looks like Brandon Cornell is going to crawl up, get into D2 on the red side of the field here for Impact.
I definitely couldn't beat you in a race, but when was the last time you, like, sprinted?
Probably right now, a couple months.
Oh, that's good. I was just thinking, man, I haven't actually, like, full-out sprinted in a long time.
Well, I do have a toddler. Oh, as Brandon Cornell takes the walk. Ooh. I do have a toddler, so I have to sprint after him quite a bit.
We got a runner? We got a runner! Monty's like, you don't got me, Pops. Omar over the top, eyes up. So went from a 4-on-2 to a 3-on-2. Still advantage for Impact, but Impact is playing D-ball here. They're just crossed up. They got D1 looking inside. They've got the Snake covering the wrap. I think it's JC and Nick Laval in the small temple, center of the field, looking D-side. Now switching to Snake side. Tom Guest gets out to D1 corner, Matty.
Now crawling up in the Snake as well, too, here for Impact. Ironman pushing the issue on the D side. Cornell still in that. Or, sorry, Reeser. Cornell, I believe. Or no, Cornell's coming off. Cornell got shot. So Trevor Reeser, the only body on that D side here for Edmonton Impact. And we're going to see a concession from the Ironman here with 3:33 to go.
Yeah, JC had enough of that. Crawls up there. Omar releasing through the middle. Tom Guest releasing through the Doritos. No idea he was there. JC got those 2 cross kills. Nice morning, huh?
Yeah, beautiful morning here in Atlantic City. It's a pretty epic view, too, as we're staring directly at all the casinos over by the ocean front, and the fog is still just levitating above those big buildings. Quite beautiful.
Yeah, we're a long ways away from out in the boonies now, like it used to be.
Yeah, just about 10 minutes here. Bader Field. And a beautiful venue for this Mid-Atlantic Major. Thank you guys so much for joining us here as we're at the 3rd stop on the tour. And we will be filming the finals. We'll be on ESPN The Ocho in early August. Not sure the air times for that yet.
That's going to be super cool. Thank you, ESPN.
Just really hoping we get an offensive-minded final game so we can give our best look to the world.
That would be amazing. I say they play the first point. Whoever wins the first point is the winner of the match. And then from then on, they both base it on entertainment.
That would be fun to watch.
Yes, it would.
For sure.
I'm sorry that I care about the bigger picture, My bad.
Yeah, so still just a bit of a head-scratcher here, the Ironman's performance. I thought they were going to have a better look with how good that they did in Texas. But still, it's just blind layout, new squad. Still going to take some time. Again, if you have a brand-new team and you already took a top 3, you're kind of playing on house money a little bit for the season.
Yeah, for sure. You're on cruise control.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about getting relegated. Unless something insane happened. I mean, we have seen, quite a big shift in the overall series rankings. As currently, Legion is 1st overall, X Factor 2nd, Heat 3rd, Dynasty 4th, Hurricanes 5th, and the Ironmen are 5th overall right now. So, be 5th overall at the 3rd event. It's going to drop after this. Penalty though assessed again on the Ironman. Yeah, this is desperation time for the Ironman.
100%.
Edmonton Impact would be pretty stoked to get a Mercy Rule win here.
Impact 3 across the back as they push into the 50 Snake. They've also got the Dorito side wing. Henry Sense getting shot early there for the Ironman. Good fill to the corner there.
Yeah, Impact in no hurry to really go anywhere. Again, they'd love another couple points to get that Mercy Rule win in the next 3 minutes, but don't need it.
Mikey Arena up to that 50 Snake. Another one of those bullies we were talking about earlier with A-Rod. Looking inside, put pressure across on that Dorito side. Ooh, Impact dropping their first attacker D side. Iron dropping another body though.
Yeah, it's Brody Lewis taking the walk.
Yeah, he even runs off the field pretty fast, Matt. You're inside. Impact with nobody D side, Matty? Am I missing a body D side for Impact? I can't see the screen.
D2.
D2, thank you.
That's the one that's blocked out.
I figured they were playing like they were pretty relaxed. And again, Impact just in cruise control here as they again sneak into the Ironman's side of the field. O'Mara releasing from the small temple into the tower. They didn't see him. Now releasing again up the D side of the field. Thinks he shot Mikey Arena, but he did not. Got eliminated. Only one Ironman left. That's Dorito 2. He's looking inside. 4-on-2 advantage here for Impact as Impact releases on the Dorito side. And they get the last kill. Really strong point there for Impact.
Yeah.
Really strong match for Impact.
Other than the first point, it's been all Edmonton Impact.
All Impact.
And yesterday, in the NYX game, it was all mostly Edmonton Impact. They did have that battle against Dynasty, and that's a good thing, right? If you're Impact and you take that win, playing Dynasty, team that's won half the tournaments in the past 4 years, get to have a lot of conversations about what went wrong, but still emerge with a win. So, and it looks like, no real hurry to run the score up. Might just even post up, see if the Ironman concede in the next minute and 15, but very well could just let this clock burn off and take the 5-point win. Dalton just chatting with the ref. Hey, what are you guys eating tonight? How'd you do at the tables last night? You blackjack guy? Craps guy? So it looks like we are going to have a towel thrown in by the Ironman. So 1 point away from Mercy Rule win. So next up is going to be Houston Heat and the ML Kings. ML Kings warmed up with a win this morning against Notorious. They're at 1-2. Still have a chance, but Houston Heat lost to Damage yesterday and then beat Notorious by 3. So sitting at a +2, 1-1. And then Dynasty and New York Extreme.
Yeah, at least New York drew a soft team for their last spot.
Yeah, well, what do you guys think you need to do? I'm assuming you guys scouted Dynasty. What do you think you need to do to take the boys in blue down?
We're not really focused on beating the other team as much as we're focused on not making mistakes ourselves, right? We have a game plan. We have a roster. We have ideas of what we're trying to accomplish on the field. And if we can go out there and do all those things right, scoreboard isn't as important to me. And when we go out and make mistakes on, 5-on-3s, 4-on-2s, that kind of stuff, that's the kind of stuff that we're working on as a team. We're not going to go out and meet Dynasty with experience. We're not going to meet them with talent. We're not going to meet, there's a lot of where we can't meet them, right? So we're just going to go out and do our absolute best to not make any mistakes, be super, super focused, and scoreboard will tell the truth.
Well, and that's been kind of the problem for New York Extreme here at this event. Now that you're getting your core starting lineup a little healthier, is that just too many of your own mistakes. You're throwing away high body situations, penalties, losing too many bodies on the break, guys shot out of their spots. Those are fixable things.
Yes, they are. So I'm looking forward to a good match, though. And the guys are super capable. The guys know they're capable, but they've got to get that confidence, and they have to play as a team. Can't play as individuals.
And we will have Coach Ryan Gray from AC Diesel coming up to call this next set, get some insight to where Diesel's heads are at.
Sorry, I'm missing that. I like being up here when he's him and Joey. Dave Baines calling last-minute adjustments.
Looking over the shoulders here, Edmonton Impact is
big bite D side.
This point, big bite D side, and looks like Cornell's going to loose, or he's going to launch up into that wedge. They shoot that body on the D side. So 2 bodies have come off right now for the Ironman. 3-on-5 situation.
5-on-2, Maddie.
5-on-2 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has just been a rough go. Ironman next game going to be against Dynasty, but it's been just nothing but struggles pretty much for him here in the prelims at Atlantic City.
Well, Dynasty's going to be mad, too, that last match coming off a loss. So that's going to be tough for the Ironman.
Impact does lose one with JC taking the walk, but they blast the last 2 bodies, and they're going to run up on that D side, and with 14 seconds left, should be able to get this Mercy Rule win. Yeah, Trevor Reeser getting checked out by the ref. Oh, yeah, man. Edmonton Impact, beautiful job here. 7 points scored for them. It's a 6-point Mercy Rule here in Pro Paintball, and that is going to do it. Impact undefeated so far. Ironman not able to put a win on the board, as Aftershock completely dismantled Damage in this match as well, too. So
nobody called that.
They're a favorite here. Thought that was going to be a close one. So next up, Houston Heat, ML Kings, Dynasty, and New York Extreme. I'm Matty Marshall here on Go Sports 2024, Mid-Atlantic Major League Paintball here in Atlantic City for the 3rd stop on the tour. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's BRNT with CRBN, and I have our new IC PWR Nano barrel system here. This kit includes our famous ultra lightweight injected carbon fiber back with our new nano tip, which features over 700 microports. This microporting prevents any debris, paint, or moisture from entering the bore and also produces a unique low sound signature. These barrel kits are compatible with all PWR inserts, including our own series from 679 to 691, and are also compatible with all PWR inserts, including those made by Planet Eclipse, Dye, and Inception Designs. Check them out at crbnpaintball.com.
I might have to let it drop. Let it drop. Let it drop. Let it drop. Let it drop.
Brent is the one that selects everybody that he wants to have show up here at the NXL to represent himself, Aerosol Factory, and Carbon Paintball. We've got an assortment of guys now, kind of a rebuild from our semi-pro days. A pretty aggressive team. We usually identify our opportunities very quickly and then try to exploit them as soon as we can. I would say working with Carbon is unmatched in the industry. From the first day that we joined the program, I felt like I had a voice. I think the thing that sets Carbon apart is just the constant desire to improve. From the time that I get a product, I'm constantly getting bombarded with phone calls, text messages, emails from Walker personally, asking me my thoughts, asking me for my feedback, and I just don't think that you see that elsewhere. I've been at other companies and I've never had that type of interaction. Where you see other brands, they're putting their pro athletes up on the pedestal and they're the ones marketing the product, but at Carbon, you can get your photo up on the website and you can see yourself holding the new product and taking promotional shots, and it's just kind of a cool thing that puts their divisional athletes in the limelight. If you look around here at the NXL events and across the country at regional events, you'll see more and more teams showing up in Carbon jerseys, and there's a reason for that. They're innovating and making new products, which is great. I just think it's the best.
Just isn't a piece of aluminum. It is, you know, potentially that piece right there might be the game winner.
It's still the same great people that invented all this stuff, and still the same
It's the main mirror built here.
It's a great opportunity for Infamous and Powerhouse to work together because all of the marketing and all of the interface that they do so well, we do design and manufacturing so well.
The other products that are on the market are good. We're great.
Hey, this is Walker with Carbon Paintball here to talk to you about our SC custom jerseys. To start your team's design, head over to crbnpaintball.com, fill in some team information, including what colors, what template you want to base your jersey off of, upload your main team logo and any sponsors, enter your name and your number, and we're going to kick you back a 3D image of your jersey. The custom jersey is built on a 5-panel design that's all customizable. The jersey features a DWR coating all throughout the jersey, so it is water resistant. It also is stain proof, and it has side mesh venting. The jersey is also very fitted, so it has a compact neck collar, and it also features elastic thumb loops to keep the sleeves in place while you're sliding or running. To start your team design, head over to crbnpaintball.com.
Welcome back here, 2024 Mid-Atlantic Major, third stop on the tour this year. Manny Marshall, blessed to have Ryan Gregg, Coach AC Diesel, up here to help me call this set. It's going to be Houston Heat taking on the ML Kings and Dynasty and New York Extreme. Must-win situation for all of these squads here, Ryan. Houston Heat went 1-1 yesterday. ML Kings won today to keep themselves in this tournament. They're 1-2. Dynasty dropped a game yesterday to Impact, and then New York Extreme is sitting at 1-2 as well. So this should be an interesting set. About to jump into point number one. It's going to be Houston Heat and the ML Kings. Houston Heat starting from the red side and the ML Kings from the blue side on the breakout. Houston Heat might have bounced the player at the can for the ML Kings, but he's good to go. And we got a good old classic, old-fashioned 5-on-5 break here, Ryan.
Getting more and more frequent.
Yes.
The 5-on-5 breakout as everybody's kind of learning the space they can sort of get out in.
Yeah,
although the match before it looked like there were just tons of points where two guys were getting shot off the break.
Some matches are a little bit more crazy off the break than others, but I do agree that survivability at the beginning of the points have increased. Also in this brick, too, we're seeing a lot of guys get there and not just run around and try to clean it out right away. Often we'll have both teams with a body in there, both looking inside, and just not wanting to waste their body given the situation. If you shoot 2 on the break and there's a guy right in front of you, that guy's got to die because then it's going to send you into a 4-on-2.
Yeah, so I kind of made that comment yesterday when I was up here in the morning that I think this is how the tournament is gonna sort of matriculate into, is less guys going up here to trade bodies and just putting yourself in a 4-on-4 right off the bat. I'm not right all the time, but sometimes I am, and it looked like I got that one right.
Yeah, you called it on that one.
Yeah, it's weird, too. Not weird. It's wonderful that we have the kind of parity in the league name now where you're saying things like Houston Heat and San Diego Dynasty, both 1-1. So that's not happened a lot over the last few years. So, man, the league is good.
It's just it's a blessing. It's good to see. Been doing this a long time, and this is probably the best parity we've ever had. So jumping into that middle, looks like the ML King is going to try to go on the attack with Carter Donaldson, and he ends up getting taken out of there. The tough thing is that it's tough to live in that spot if you have an opponent in that 50 brick, and Tyler Harmon's been there since the beginning, all the way, and then looks like Houston Heat, 2 bodies out wide, so they got out of that the center pocket at least, and now they're going to move up with Ryan Moorhead. He's going to feel no pressure, goes right into D3.
Yeah, Houston Heat, just all tempo here, and it looks like ML King's just satisfied with kind of playing the back and waiting. I don't know if that's a good strategy on this field.
Yeah, I agree. If you're up 3 points, I've seen that work out a few times, but if you're not, then that is not the move. And Tyler Harmon feasting over here on the snake side, and Ryan Moorhead cut to the middle of the field. Dizon behind him, and a couple gunfight wins. Made this one pretty easy here for Houston Heat. They're going to go up 1-0 against the ML Kings.
Yeah, Fedorov shot Ryan Moorhead like 4 times in the back. Ryan turns around like, come on, pal.
We've definitely seen a few team kills out here.
Yeah, just so you know, there's only one way to shoot 6 guys.
Well, we always get some team kills. It's just at what frequency do they present themselves? And hasn't been crazy out here with the team kills. Not the worst tournament, but I think the blind layout might be part of that. Let's listen in real quick.
The can was shooting bounce shots into the. Yeah, I saw that. Hey, if that can shoots the bounce shot back into that crack. Hey, Tyler needs a little bit more communication. Tyler needs more confidence. Yeah. We got it going. That Houston guy was the center guy. So then it was just the 4. Yeah, who shot the center guy? Going wide.
So on the breakout right now, New York Extreme and San Diego Dynasty.
New York Extreme dropped 1 off the break.
Yeah, it's going to be Josh Taylor taking the early walk, so Dynasty going to be in a 5-on-4 situation. Survivability, a little bit of an issue for Dynasty yesterday. But even though they went 1-1, they had a 2-point win and a 1-point loss, so still sitting in that positive area for the point differential with 2 more games to go today. Brutal bracket, though. Dynasty, Ironman, Impact, Infamous, and New York Extreme in bracket D. New York Extreme is going to get a body here to the 50 brick. And then Thomas Taylor's going to get into the wedge to help him out. San Diego Dynasty already has Chris Shear all the way up into D3, though. So great position for Chris. He's won MVP award for Dynasty, crushing people on the D side. Very high survivability for Chris Shear. He's a really hard guy to shoot out.
Nice to see Danny getting a spin here. This is the setup also I was kind of talking about yesterday with the guy at the wedge there behind the 50 snake, and then the outside snake, a guy being in snake 2. Just because they can kind of protect each other a little bit. Easy for them to cross up. And you don't potentially have to waste a body to go get the guy out of the 50, which I don't know who that was in the wedge there, but they've now released into the middle of the field to go try to find some space to shoot the guy out of the brick here.
Yeah, sometimes the trade's great, but other times it doesn't really help you out much.
And he does. He finds it. Is that Arturo there in the middle?
Yeah. Yeah, Arturo had some really good points yesterday for San Diego Dynasty. And he's hunting again in the middle. Middle's a great closing position. We've seen probably a half a dozen different moves to close big points from the middle of the field with 3-pack run-throughs.
Yeah, Clint Johnson had one yesterday out of the middle. I saw Colt had one.
Jerry Caro
had one.
Yeah, it's there. It's just the middle is so treacherous in the middle part of the point. If there's still a high body count out there, so if it's still 5-on-5 or 4-on-4, middle's kind of rough. But once that pressure starts to go outside, you can definitely finish through that middle of the field.
Colts was in a 5-on-5 against Paintball Fit. I was like, man,
but made it even more
crafty.
Yeah. Yeah, Colts in the running. So Pate Smith Law giving $500 out for move of the prelims. He's a law firm that specializes in working with clients, trying to get money out of their insurance companies for property claims. So doing God's work, Colts is probably the leader right now, I think. So body dropping early here for Houston Heat's going to be Dizon trying to get to that can, but they are able to shoot out a body.
Yeah, MLK's got a minor. Kyle Berry gets a minor, and they shoot the guy out of the corner.
So just 2 bodies left alive right now for the ML Kings. Houston Heat just needs to, anytime you see bodies drop that quick, hopefully someone on Houston Heat counted those kills so you get the code called properly. Tyler's going to dive into the Snake 1 as Fedorov eyes up and over that Aztec, trying to help out Ryan Moorhead on that D side. Ryan's already up into that 50-yard line.
I believe it's 4-on-1.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the ML Kings. It is 4-on-1 here in the Sky Telestration. Yeah, so just, again, with the deaths coming off so quick, Heat might be off a body or 2. And since they need to win, they're going to be extra careful.
That's what I was going to say, too. When you're in a situation where you need a win, you shoot several guys, like, in succession like that. Take a breath, get your kill count right, make sure you know where they are, don't go anywhere.
Well, you've been preaching this to your guys, and at some point here, want to pick your brain about where Diesel's mindset's at. But, every time we talk to you about it, you keep trying to preach that to your guys. Slow. We'll cut to the pit sometimes, and you'll be kind of giving
Take a breath.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Take a breath. Did you not count those bodies coming off? They're walking right past you. Someone's got to be able to see it.
It was so bad yesterday being in that kind of deja vu situation with Revo, where we're in a good 2-on-2, have an opportunity to tie the game. Clint Johnson tries to put it together with Cody Mikowski, and they just didn't wait long enough to check in, make sure they knew where the bodies were, and then go close the game together. Clint kind of tried to do it on its own. So,
jumping into point number 2 here, Dynasty up by 1, and Dynasty off the break shots lasered in. They get another one here, keep 5 bodies alive. And right back into that 50-yard line here with Harrison Fry. Yeah, so a bunch of different bodies filtering in from Dynasty. We've had, SK getting his guys some reps. Harrison's been looking pretty good in some spins for him. They also get Danny reps. Arturo's played awesome as well, too.
Other than Malloy, I thought Harrison played that spot better than anybody else, just from he was just really active. Inside, outside, he's over the top. It doesn't hurt that he's like 6'2".
Yeah, it helps if you can play over the top of those bricks. And you need to be about 6 foot, 6'1" to play over the top of those bricks without having to get all the way up on your tippy toes. Maybe 5'11" could do it, but right now New York Extreme in another tough situation. Just losing too many bodies on the break to be competitive out here, making too many mistakes. I see 5-on-2.
Yeah, and, they really only lost 1 guy off the break and then lost 2 guys out of spots.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many New York Extreme games that you've watched now, Ryan, but they finally got their core roster back and healthy and haven't really even been able to practice with some of those guys because of their injuries. And then coming into a blind layout. So, not being able to practice with your core guys, having to apply a blind layout, trying to figure out who your go-to guys are going to be. And they've just made too many mistakes out here. They did have a great game yesterday to keep themselves in this tournament against the Ironman with a 4-1 victory to go 1-1 today, and then lost to Infamous by 3. So for them to stay in this tournament, they need to beat Dynasty by 3 or 4.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going to bring up too, because I've watched all their games.
Okay.
And the first one, they kind of looked in disarray, a little bit messy. The second one, though, it wasn't just the way they looked; they sounded like NYX.
Yes.
And then this morning, I watched and kind of went back and looked like they looked the first game yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, looks like ML King's going to be losing the body out wide here on the Snake side, trying to spread the field early. Houston Heat able to do just that, though, as they have a body in D1 and back corner bunker on the Snake side. And then they also have Tyler Harmon, who's been playing a little bit more offense. So past couple seasons, Tyler's been more the 2, but it looks like they're running him as the 1 a little bit more now. Another body coming off for the ML Kings from that D side this time. So it's a 3-on-5 situation in favor of Houston Heat.
Yeah, and I think that's why they have Tyler there, is because he can play over the top of the brick.
Yeah, Tyler's, 6'3"-ish?
Probably.
So it's just such a, being taller makes you a bigger target. But, man, if you're over 6 foot, there are angles that you can shoot that other people that are shorter just cannot shoot.
And Tyler can play
and
so
bunkers
small.
you can play, yeah.
Yeah, he can play small.
Yeah, he folds up like a folding chair when he needs to.
Yeah, he does. I just wish he had a better first shot,
Yeah, Ryan, if his snapshot was just a little more dialed,
Yeah.
he'd probably be an all-star now. I'm just kidding. He's one of those guys you just don't gunfight more than once if you have to.
You get one.
Yeah.
He's a little bit like, the Malloy and Axel's a little bit that way. You get one.
So now Tyler Harmon past the 50-yard line. He's going to get a free crossfield kill. He had no idea he's there, and then going to get a concession as he's about to run down and stitch up that last player. It's just been all Houston Heat.
Yeah, Houston Heat looks great.
Yeah, they look good.
Very dialed.
Then they did drop a game yesterday to Damage, but they're playing like they need wins right now. They're looking like the Houston Heat we've seen win multiple tournaments since they came into existence in 2012.
Yeah, and that was a perfect point, right? Like, got out, shot a guy off the break, went to the key spots, communicated, didn't get into stupid gunfights, but won a couple of quick gunfights.
It's having watched so much paintball over the years, and you probably feel the same way, but you really can see it in the body language, the confidence. It's intense, but it's fluid.
Comfortable.
Comfortable.
Yeah, you look at them and they just look like, just another game.
They know the angles, they know the shots, they're not frantic, they know the count for the most part. And so Dynasty up by 2 here on Extreme, but see if Extreme can actually live through the break this time, and they can't. So they're going to lose another body here, so it's a 4-on-5 situation. And not going well here for Extreme. And a great crossfield spread here for Dynasty as they already have that body up in the inside wedge on the D side. D1's hot. Inside wedge in the V, and then Snake 2. So just about perfect here for Dynasty so far through a couple, Ryan.
Yeah, Danny getting another spin out here. And again, I love this setup. You don't have to worry as much about the guy in the 50 brick on the Snake side. And then also with where they are in the Dorito wedge, if somebody does go up into that 50 brick, he's going to shoot him in the head right away.
Yeah, Danny Schonauer in Snake 2 going to have to squeegee his barrel. CJ Cantor mirrored up that move. He's on the right-hand side of your screen for New York Extreme, and has got a body right beside him inside of that wedge. Wedge looking towards Danny. Arturo is off of the wedge, also mirrored up. So it's perfectly mirrored up here on the Snake side, but Arturo is really trying to get an angle across to that D side where Extreme has 2 bodies in D1 and D2.
Yeah, is that Ryan out here helping out?
In the backfield? Yeah. Greenspan?
Yeah.
Arturo, did Arturo just crawl inside?
Yeah, Arturo's now at the 50 Snake brick.
So, just perfect crossfield spread here for Dynasty to help protect this lead. Dynasty's last game going to be against the Ironmen, who've had a real rough go of it, but now they got nothing to lose. So could see a little different look from the Ironmen now that the pressure's off in their second game. So Dynasty going to want to put up as many points as they can in this match.
Yeah, and I'm hoping New York Extreme kind of figures it out, turns it around. It'd be nice to have a good one here. Because New York Extreme is good.
They
just got to put it together.
They were a top 4 team for a while last season.
For sure.
And the only body they lost after picking up so they picked up Thomas Taylor and thought they were going to have Corey Hall, but then Aftershock came into existence, so Corey wanted to go back and play with the same boys he won the 2020 Vegas Major.
Well, then Timmy, right? Timmy Stetzel goes to X Factor.
True, but he was kind of in and out for a while.
I know he was kind of a bench guy.
Yeah. Yeah, they were definitely excited about him a couple seasons ago, but he broke his shoulder falling at work, and then had to get his work stuff figured out. So not like a core guy for them,
right?
But
playing well for X Factor.
Yeah, but to your point, yes, Extreme. Just I think they're going to be, once they get everyone really healthy and they have some time to practice, I think they're going to look a lot better towards the end of the season. It's just been another little bit of a struggle other than game 2 for him here in the prelims. A little bit of a longer point here, Ryan.
Yeah, Dynasty knows we don't have to do anything. Up a couple of bodies, relax, communicate. It was like yesterday afternoon. It was so funny when I was up here in the morning and we were talking about the games going like 10 points. Mm-hmm. And then I stuck around and watched that X Factor aftermath
game.
Yeah, and I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing while I was calling it. I'm like, 1-1. Oh, look at this move here for Blake Yarber as he cuts through the zone in the middle. He dices up Thomas Taylor. This is a little 3-pack run through here for Blake Yarber. That's on the list of moving the prelims. To finish things off, perfectly ran route right there.
Bully.
Traded out with the body. Blake is definitely one of the bullies for Dynasty. And he's a former MVP award winner as well, too, by just smashing people in the middle of the field.
I mean, he's probably got a knife on him right now.
He's one of those guys, like the nicest guy off the field and just an absolute savage on the field.
He's the player you want.
Yeah.
Great human being away from the field. As soon as you get him inside the net, he wants to kill you.
Yeah. Well, that's what inside the nets is for, right?
For sure. You know, like sometimes you get those guys who are, you know, they're super sweet off the field, and then you watch them go on the field, and they'll shoot a guy one time, and, you know, it's like, hey, man, you got to be a little more – one's not enough, right?
Well, Blake's also great, too, because he's he's done some crazy backpacking adventures. He once hiked the length of Hadrian's Wall in northern England, living off, like, berries and Cliff Bars for, like, 2 weeks.
New York
foraging for food.
ML Kings losing 2 off the break here. The Houston Heat's guns are just dialed.
Yeah, Houston Heat looks like Houston Heat right now. 5 alive all across the backfield for Houston Heat, and a 5-on-3. ML Kings just struggling. Federoff's going to move up into the wedge. Tyler Harmon in snake 1.
Federoff's playing all over.
Yeah, Federoff's been all over the place. Been on the D side, been in the middle, snake side. Tyler Harmon just definitely committed to the snake side for the most part. Also wondering with Heat is, as we get deep in this tournament, is who's going to be their go-to starting 5, because they've been getting everyone spins.
Yeah.
New pickup for them, Ryan Rodarte. Connor Kelly's not here. Congratulations to the Keller family. Brand new daughter. So Connor's staying home with the fam. So they've picked up Ryan Rodarte. And he's been getting spins, too. Another kill here for Houston Heat. Yeah, they're just on cruise control right now.
Was Rodarte not – he wasn't with another team, was he?
No, he was, quasi-retired.
Right.
And I talked to Pat McKenna, assistant coach, as now looks like a little bit of a battle going down here as Kyle Berry's going to send it. But that is going to force a concession from the ML Kings with 8:40 to go. 4 points in a row for Houston Heat. I talked to Pat McKenna. I was like, no Connor Kelly. Your thoughts on that? We talked a little bit about that. He's like, yeah, of course, he's had a kid. Obviously Connor's been getting better and better and better. Would have loved to have him, but totally understand. He's like, but we picked up Ryan Rodarte. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I was like, how'd you guys go about that? And he's like, well, we kind of just looked at who had played in the league before, who we kind of maybe would wanted. We made a list and started calling around. And Ryan was like, yeah, I'm definitely all about it. Let's do it.
It's always funny when guys retire because you start the return clock.
Totally.
I think I've retired twice.
Well, it's like we've got ML Kings out here playing, and Peterson from ML Kings that came up World Cup a couple years ago. He's like, Maddie, thank you so much for everything you do. I really appreciate it, man. Good to be friends, and this is my last tournament ever. And I'm like, yeah, we'll see about that.
Right.
Josh Taylor. Sure enough, and he's back.
Yeah, Josh Taylor dying again off the break. Josh having some survivability issues off the break.
Yeah, just in general for New York Extreme. Just can't seem to keep 5 bodies alive for the bulk of these points. So San Diego Dynasty, also just like Houston Heat, on cruise control right now. Blake's going to run up and get out of that back center. They do lose a body. It was going to be a minor penalty. And was that on
Blake?
No, well, Blake got pulled out, but I think the penalty was on Archie. So opportunity here to stay in this match for Extreme. I mean, there's still a little under 8 to go, and another penalty, and it's going to be on Dynasty again. Wow.
Yeah.
2 penalties. Okay, so a small chink in the armor here for Dynasty.
I think Alex was John a little bit on his way off and got a minor penalty there.
Hey, who do you need one from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Hey, who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here. Who do you need it from? Grayson, come here.
Yeah, so the head referee is actually asking, who do you need it from? So there's still one body left alive for New York Extreme after the penalty chaos. It looked like when they went and pulled one of the Extreme players out, but I don't know if that was from, so it was Marcelo Margot or Chris Shear?
Yeah, it's Chris.
Chris Shear, yeah, Chris Shear staying alive in the madness. Yeah, I thought that was 2 penalties on Dynasty, but they went and pulled one of the bodies from Extreme.
Yeah, and I kind of heard A-House screaming there like...
Let's listen in real quick, because there's Jason.
The back center guy had to get on the floater. Alex pointed that out.
If they've already signaled him out and he's pointing at people, then I get nothing on that.
Well, I thought they had to pull him out.
No.
But what we talked, so all the time.
Hey, call is why would stop the clock as a minor.
So Yosh Rao has a knee injury, he's not playing, not suited up, and having a conversation with Eric Crandall, longtime manager of Dynasty, with our commissioner. There's Bo Milo, owner of New York Extreme, over as well, too, trying to figure out what just happened. Yeah, so it might be a potential review.
Yeah, he's definitely reviewing it.
He immediately walked back to the booth.
And I appreciate that. I want him to get it right. You know, we had a couple situations yesterday that were not handled well when the call was made. And it's so hard on the referees because they're trying to make split-second decisions over what happened with bath beads moving at 200 miles an hour, right? And
hundreds of them.
Totally. And these guys are all, everybody's trying to do everything they can to stay alive, I think is the nicest way to say that.
That's a very well-said way of nicely putting it.
Yeah, all of them, right? And they're all, so like the refs, so they're trying to make split-second decisions. Sometimes, though, I think they need to just like we do on the field, take a breath, talk about it, get it right.
All Houston Heat so far with 8:37 to go, and the beatings are going to continue off the break here as another body comes off. They do trade, though. Oh, Jesus. Fedorov just jumped over Snake 1 to get into Snake 2. Haven't seen that yet here at this event. Another body coming off of the ML Kings. So it's a 4-on-3 situation in favor of Heat, now 4-on-2 as D1 drops for the ML Kings. Yeah, so anytime you see bodies come off this quick, that's when the count can get messed up a little bit. ML King's going to filter out one of their last bodies to the back corner bunker here on the Snake side, and also have D1 as well. So defensible. Oh, that body got good zone control here from Heat. So it's just one player alive. Probably see another concession, I'm guessing. Yeah, there it goes. Man, Houston Heat just running up the score. They look real good this morning.
Really good.
Next game for Houston Heat, and this is going to be a fun one to watch because it's Aftershock, and Aftershock's been dominant. They put up 7 points against Notorious, won by 3. Then they go and they play the ML Kings and win that one by 2. And then in a game we thought was going to be closely contested against Tampa Bay Damage, they shut Damage out. 4-0 was the score.
I watched that one. They look really good.
Yeah.
And, played with the right tempo at the right time.
And in different facets of the game. Sometimes teams are doing one thing or two things particularly well and struggling with a couple other things but still getting wins. They're doing everything well.
Yeah.
They're getting penetration outside. They're playing aggressive. They're shooting bodies on the break. They're calm and composed while on the attack. Closing clean. They're doing a lot of things right.
And they had, Brian, they pick up a rookie, right? Brian comes in, plays that first point this morning, steals it because they're losing the Dorito side. Ryan comes down the Snake, wins a point. So, even when you're playing really controlled, sometimes you need a hero. Right, you got to have somebody step up and win a game every now and again.
Hosky looked really good in that one, and that's good because the scouting report on Shock is nothing but studs on that team, except for up and coming potential stars. But who's going to be their go-to Snake guy? They take Clay Hughes from the Ironman, but he was having some rough practices. They pick up Hosky. Hosky made some mistakes in that Legion game deep into Sunday, but those are the types of mistakes that you learn from.
Totally.
They go back with Hosky again, and he was much better in these first 3 games. He's still playing aggressive, but he's starting to fine-tune his aggression game.
And what's great is he's making mistakes, and I think I said this yesterday, he's making mistakes that young players are supposed to make, right? He's taking those risks that sometimes you're going to get an 8 result, sometimes you're going to get a 4.
Yeah.
Right? But you expect that out of a young player, and you kind of want it.
Yeah. So head on over to gosports.com to watch the rest of the best players and teams in the world play here on Major League Paintball in Atlantic City. And thank you guys so much for joining us to watch professional paintball. And
So New York Extreme breaking out with 4, so that penalty must have been a minor on the last player alive there that was in the corner.
Yeah, body dropping again here early for New York Extreme. This time it's Jerry Carl, one of their big killers. Dynasty going to filter a body out D side. Blake's still alive and hunting up the middle. Not feeling any pressure. He's going to go to the wedge. 5-on-3 again here for Dynasty. Just need 2 more points for the Mercy Rule win. Really help their chances to make Sunday. Dynasty did miss Sunday at the second event in Texas. And another body coming off here for the ML Kings. Yeah, Dynasty is just in full control. I mean, it helps when you're playing up bodies every single point.
Yeah, and all those bodies you're seeing get peeled off of this side, that's Blake Yarborough. I mean, he's up on that Dorito side, playing in space that we're not seeing a lot of teams play. I really like that channel over there. And I also like Blake in that spot.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a treacherous section of the field when the bodies are high, but when you do drop a couple, 1 or 2 off the break every single point, he's a fearless player. Blake's never scared to attack, and he's just reading and reacting really well to the existing remaining players in front of him, his opponents, choosing the right routes, putting it together. Yeah, I like that area over there too. I think that could be a big component of whoever wins this tournament.
Yeah, agreed. You know, now that people are starting to figure out all the bounce shots that go into that first and second Dorito, those are going to get rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah, we talked a little bit yesterday when we had you up here, as there's running the clock off right now, about how, do you like blind layouts? Do you not like them? You said you could go either way. I'm a big fan of blind layouts because as a fan, I get to watch these top level, the best teams and players in the world figure it out on the fly.
Yeah, you're getting to see their development process.
Which, if you're a paintball player yourself, you're down in the divisions and you're watching the best teams, you get to learn from that. And it's entertaining to me, too, because you see teams, all-stars make mistakes they don't normally make when they have 90 points on the layout.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden they're making a couple mistakes, maybe a couple mistakes in a row. So, when you let an intelligent, high IQ superstar who's been winning tournaments for 15 years and you give them multiple days on a layout, they're going to figure a lot out. It's already going to be dialed by the time that we get to this tournament. Whereas in a blind layout, it's still a bit of a puzzle first day. Well, second day, things get figured out a little bit more, but it's still a work in progress.
Well, we talked a little bit about experience, right? And whether or not that's kind of an advantage for the blind layout. If you look at Impact, they're kind of proof of it really being a real thing, that having those experienced guys, a coach like Dave Baines, who's used to walking tons of paintball fields, being able to put game plans together on the fly, they look great.
Yeah.
And they look great from the get.
Well, and they looked good immediately. Had a great game against New York Extreme, and then had a battle against Dynasty. But they were just figuring it out a little faster than their opponents. Yeah. Even in that game against Dynasty, was also starting to figure it out, too. That was a 1-point loss for Dynasty, 1-point win for Impact. Then we go to the Ironman match. And I talked to Henry Sense and Zach Geiger from the Ironman, and, they were brutally honest. They were like, yeah, man, we just had a rough go of it. We weren't figuring things out fast enough, causing small mistakes, kind of being behind the action, reacting instead of acting.
They just didn't play aggressive at all, right? Like they played a little bit like they did on Thursday on a layout that they really know all the shots. Mm-hmm. When you come out on this layout, not having played 90 points, you got to take some risk, and which is shocking, right? Because Shane is a risk guy.
Totally, and he's got the players that like to take risks on that team. But in that Impact match, Impact completely dismantled the Ironman with the Mercy Rule win, 7-1. And you just saw Impact figuring out these angles. They started murdering people on the break. They were calm and methodical, but aggressive on the attack. And, there's nothing but all-stars on Impact. You don't get the call from Dave Baines in the offseason to come play for Impact unless you were a star on the other whatever team you played on.
Right.
And with the one exception of Tyler Panilio, who's been a hometown project for Dave Baines for a couple seasons. But even Tyler, I played a 10-man with Cap Factory a couple years ago, and I was talking to Dave about it. And I'm like, well, who we got on the squad? And he's like, we're naming off all these legends. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a fun one. And he's like, and we got this young kid coming up, dude, Tyler Peniel. He's a speed demon. He's aggressive. You're going to love him. He's super fun. I was like, and sure enough, he was great in the woods, too. I think he was 17 or 18 at the time.
I know what you were really thinking is awesome. I don't have to go far.
For sure. Well,
yeah, because everybody else you named on the list, those guys like hip problem, knee problem, shoulder problem, arthritis.
Well, I told the guys, I was like, look, I'm stoked to be playing here. 2 things I'm not doing. I'm not going to any far bunker, and I really don't want to have to run a flag back. And then the very first game that I play, we had a battle. I can't remember who we were playing in this crazy thick field, and it was just me and Trevor Reeser as the last 2 bodies alive going into this like forest. We didn't know where the guy was, and then sure enough, so I go in, I shoot the last body, and then I thought it was just me. I grab the flag, I turn around, Trevor runs up out of the woods, out of the thicket, and I was like, "Here you go, young man."
Yeah. Run this back.
Yeah. So still, they're just grinding this clock down. I wish we had an actual, we're just going to concede the game situation. So.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we've given up. We've completely given up. We're just going to run this clock down, just so Dynasty doesn't have to sit out in the sun. And I mean, we can turn this show into a podcast, And speaking of podcasts, talk to me a little bit about the Coaches Show here, Ryan.
One, it's been just incredibly fun. I get to hang out with my friend Mike Bianca every Tuesday for a couple of hours, and after the show is over, we still hang out for like an hour and talk while I'm uploading stuff. And so, number one for me, that's like the best, right? And when the conception of the show in the beginning was going to be more kind of like news driven and those kind of things. As it's evolved, we've realized like, man, we can't do as much in post-production as we want. The guy who was doing our post, Jake Jones, who did a fantastic job for us, but he took another job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to do any of that kind of stuff, right? Like, I'm a knucklehead. So we focused more on the analytical side of trying to break games down, have coaches in, and then also on the other side of that, provide resources to coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So this event post is going to be awesome. Like the next few Tuesdays, we're going to have so much to talk about because number one, we've had some great games. But then number two, we have 2 finals games to completely break down. And the one that happened Thursday, I've watched it now twice. I cannot wait to break that game down.
Yeah, that was a really fun finals match. Came down to overtime. Red Legion taking down X Factor. A couple penalties in that one that kind of crushed X Factor. But it looks like a point was finally conceded. So after a little bit of a break, Houston Heat going to come out, try to finish off this Mercy Rule win here, shut out the ML Kings, which will officially knock the ML Kings. Well, yeah, with this spread, this will probably knock the ML Kings out.
Should. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, just because they went. They were able to put this one up. Yeah, this is going to do it for the ML Kings.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can check out the Coaches Show on Major League Paintball's YouTube. You can also see it on our Facebook, which is the Coaches Show Live. You can catch us on Instagram at thecoachesshow.live.
So good break this time for the ML Kings. I think they just shot a body, but. Yeah, they have 5 bodies alive. You got a body up in the middle. They get a body out here. Snake side into Snake 1. Filtering out into the Aztec as well, too. Yeah, Houston Heat with 4. But a massive lead. Still 7-12 left in this one.
I mean, when you shoot a guy or 2 off the break, those are going to be fast.
Yeah.
Right? Even if you do nothing, they're going to be fast.
Yeah. So Houston Heat probably just going to tuck into some decent spots and wait for ML Kings to attack. They'll take something if it's given to them. If they're feeling no pressure, can make a move up, but it's really not. I mean, Houston Heat with this, as long as they can keep this margin high, they do have to play Shock next, but even if they drop that game to Shock, with this +5, should be sitting pretty. The tough thing when you're 2-2 is you just don't want to be in the wild card.
And you're gonna be.
Yeah.
You're gonna be.
Yeah.
You're gonna be, because even if you're 2-2 and you potentially are second in your pool, if you're 7-8 spot, you're playing in that wild card range. So.
Yeah, I think it was World Cup though a few years ago, where Houston Heat actually came out of the wild card to take the victory.
Oh, the 9-10 spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. There's something about playing that first game too on Sunday. Get you a little bit of tempo and rhythm, especially for the slightly younger teams. I think for the older teams, they probably don't want to play it just to protect bodies, those kind of things. But every coach seems to have an opinion about which one's better.
Well, also, if you're a team contending for a series title and you do lose a wild card game, it kind of wrecks doesn't wreck it, but depending on what happens with everyone else. So, yeah, battle's still going down on here. Time ticking off the clock.
Yeah, we kind of saw that last year, not necessarily with a wild card game, but with, Tampa Bay Damage, getting knocked out first round at World Cup kind of took all the parity opportunity out of, having a different series winner. Dynasty pretty well had it locked up as soon as that happened.
Yeah, this year it's Legion.
They are 60 points ahead.
I was going to say, they got a pretty decent gap. Body coming off for Houston Heat. I just went and checked my notes. So it was 2018 when Houston Heat came out of the wild card. Ryan Moorhead, MVP in that one. So now just 2 bodies, 2-on-3 situation here in favor of the ML Kings.
You know what I love about what you just said, too, is Ryan could be an MVP here. Like, he's so good.
Well, we were talking about how proficient we think that zone is that Blake's been charging through and getting kills and launching to close points. That's the same area where Ryan plays.
Yeah.
So, depending on what happens, we still got a lot of paintball to play, but yeah, could be Ryan Moorhead. I mean, we heavily weight what happens on Sunday, and the deeper on Sunday we go for those MVP awards. Looks like here comes the counterpunch from the ML Kings after Houston Heat got Dizon out wide. So Dizon eats him up, though. But here comes ML Kings all the way on to Houston Heat side. Oh, I think he got the shot in on Mishka.
Yep, he did.
Did he trade out, though? Turned it into a one-on-one. Oh, and Dizon gets the coast-to-coast shot. So Ronnie Dizon steps up here to put the 6-point on the board for Houston Heat. Perfect game for them. Got a little interesting, but low body win. And that's also a good one, too, heading into the next game.
Absolutely.
Because, yeah, you handled this match, really faced almost no adversity, really.
And the Kings are good.
Yeah, and the Kings are good. But until that last point, right? And then all of a sudden now we have to win a low body situation. Dizon steps up, and that's just good for momentum. And, yeah, Houston Heat looking about as good as it's going to get there.
And I kind of said that yesterday, too, after our first match. We go up to on Aftermath. Let them come back there, score 2 points, tie it up, and then go into overtime, have a really fun, grindy overtime point where, Coda Mikowski plays the hero, comes down, hits the buzzer with 8 seconds left on the clock. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm cool if they would have started that process about a minute earlier because I was having a heart attack in the pit. But that was good for us. That's good for my group to have those really gritty, grindy, put it together, games going into the next one. Josh Taylor, again, getting shot off the break.
Yeah, it's just a similar story for New York Extreme. Most of these matches, it's just tough on the survivability metric here for them. We do get Cantor, so there's only 24 seconds left, so Dynasty probably not going to put this 6-point on the board, but still, it was mostly just all San Diego Dynasty here in this one. Yeah, 4-on-4 situation. Yeah, this is going to be the final score. 7 seconds to go here in regulation. So 2 blowouts in this set.
Yeah, this wasn't as fun as yesterday.
No. Sorry, Ryan. Thought, maybe we had so many close games. We had 7 overtime matches yesterday.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Dynasty going to blow out New York Extreme. Same with Houston Heat and the ML Kings. So Dynasty now 2-1. Houston Heat now 2-1. And next up is going to be Tampa Bay Damage taking on Notorious. Notorious is going to be out as they've dropped 3. Tampa Bay dropped their game to Shock, and it did not look good. So they definitely need to win this one. And then Edmonton Impact looking amazing against the Ironman. They're going to be playing Infamous.
So, who also looks pretty good.
Yeah, Infamous won against New York Extreme.
They kind of flip-flop, right? They had one yesterday. I was like, what happened? The first one they played looked great.
Yep.
Second one looked a little rough. This morning looked great again.
Yeah, so we'll see. Now they're playing Impact, and
right.
Impact looks really dialed. So stage is set here for this next one. Damage, Notorious, Impact, and Infamous. Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Best of luck. 2024 Mid-Atlantic Major League Paintball here in Atlantic City. And Matty Marshall here. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Go Sports. See you in just a few.
The game of paintball is a fast-paced, high-intensity sport. But at its heart, the concept is simple. Shoot your opponents before you get shot, and then march down the field to victory. In the Major League Paintball Pro format, each team fields 5 players at a time. They have a buzzer on their side to protect. Hit the opponent's buzzer, win the point. En route to the buzzer, both teams will be locked in gunfights, utilizing diverse strategies while moving up a field full of bunkers, fighting to get into critical positions. And these strategies could change given the score and the time left on the clock. There's 15 minutes in regulation, and the highest point total wins the game. If there is a tie, then a 5-minute overtime period will be played. This is chess with guns, with no quarter given and no quarter requested. Welcome to Major League Paintball.